So it doesn't matter if it's the old bulls of NXT.
You're talking about tag team titles. The line starts behind us.
Or the young cast of this new era.
We heard y'all talking about those NXT tag team titles.
Tag team titles. Oh, we bout it back.
We're gonna keep smoking the tag team division.
Reputation flawless. My name is Peter Get Rich. It's my jam, it's my gang. Let it spawn. Welcome to After Dark. Killers in the short. Don't know your click, don't know your it's my gang.
Well, what started out as an 8-man tag team match tonight has absolutely disintegrated because these four teams have shown they can't get along. So the match is now a fatal 4-way tag team championship match in our main event tonight.
HMG, the recognized symbol of excellence in sports entertainment. Hameen Media Group. This is NXT. Next Level Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your Next Level Wrestling review. And if you don't know who I am the reporter, the people, the man with the plan, figure here to stay to talk some lucha libre, which is your Spanish lesson for wrestling today. I don't know how to say wrestling in Italian, but I think we're going to find out. But neither here nor there. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to be back. I'm sorry I wasn't here last week. I had things to do. Jamie buried me for it. What a love fest last week between Jamie and the Ayatollah bin Hameen. I was watching a shitty 6 on the pay-per-view, fatter, balder, longer, whatever the hell it was. It was fantastic. 2CW did a fantastic show this week. And if you guys haven't had the chance, please head over to 2CW's YouTube channel. Just type in the number 2CW and check it out. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I feel like it's been 3 weeks, but it has not. He is the one, the only. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
I was born with the mic in my hands.
4-time
to the SI land.
international wrestling champion.
The era of the spinning
He's a Rip Rogers guy.
With
The one,
the
only, Jamie the Vet Williams. Jamie, what is popping off, my brother? How are you doing, man? And he's muted. You got to take the mute gimmick off there.
Yeah.
Buddy.
Yeah, sorry. When you become a Kellogg's Frosted Flakes champion, you get free cereal for life.
Free cereal for life. Now, I'm playing the go-home music, which I'm supposed to be playing this right now. There we go.
There you go. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I look, hey, I'm very excited right now because we don't have time to waste with bullshit talking about me. And the love fest with the Ayatollah or anything like that. I have got to introduce to the people one of my favorite human beings on planet Earth.
Me?
I'm so excited. Yes, you, Ray. It is Big Ray Hernandez, but another one besides you too. Like, I have multiple favorites. And so yes, I want to bring this guy. Okay, a total professional who's worked on such things as a writer. He's worked on Superior Donuts. He's worked on Two Broke Girls. He's been on The New Adventures of Old Christine, and he's certainly the only person in all of Hameen Media Group who's ever flown on the McMahon private jet.
Whoa.
Yes. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my immense pleasure to introduce to you the one and only Mark Millara, a.k.a. Frankie Forget About It. Unmute yourself before you say anything, brother.
Hey, everybody. Thank you very much. Thanks for the intro. I appreciate that. Jamie and I have been friends for quite some time, back in his vet days at OVW, and have maintained, contact ever since. Whenever we pick up the phone, it could be 2 years gone by. It's like nothing, like no time.
Yes, but we wanted to bring in a specialist for the expertise, because not only did you work for the WWE, and I want you to tell the people about that. And Ray, if you have any questions, please feel free. But there's a guy that we've been just dying to. We've been waiting for this debut. Ray and I, and everyone in the chat as well. Like this is the most hyped debut I think that's ever happened in professional wrestling history, and it only was fitting to bring in a ringer to talk about it, because this may not exist if it weren't for this individual sitting right before us today. In fact, so we're gonna get into that a little bit, but yeah. So yeah, Mark, tell the people a little bit about your career and how you came about to end up working at the WWE.
Well, I watched wrestling, I think, since I was, 3, 4, however old you have to be to understand what you're seeing. I was a Mark at a young age because my name's Mark. But I eventually, decided, that I wanted to go into either writing or something like that. So I decided in college that I would at least, attempt to get a job at WWE. And in the summer of 2006, I went down to OVW and trained. That's where I met Jamie, and just trying to add to the resume. And my senior year in school, I contacted people at WWE. Brian Gewirtz was a Syracuse student, and eventually got an interview there. And I got very lucky, and I got hired. So I was a writer's assistant during, a tumultuous period, which I don't affectionately call it this, but it was the summer of Benoit. So 14 years in the making, getting a job at the company that you've always wanted to, and then tragedy strikes.
Yeah,
so
the most catastrophic, almost torpedoed the entire business event just right when you get there. Coincidentally, of course.
That's right. But I was still, very much enamored by the business, and the OVW experience was very cool. That's where I stumbled upon the gimmick of Frankie Forget About It, which really was just a tongue-in-cheek, sort of subversive, play on all the stereotypes and stuff. And I thought that was the way in, but lo and behold, we've seen plenty of Italian American incarnations since then. That we'll probably get into that. I'm assuming. So then after that, WWE ended, the company didn't, but my tenure there did. Wasn't fired, unlike most writers' assistants. I left on my own accord, and set sail for Hollywood, where I've worked my way up, and now I'm a writer in the Writers Guild of America, and been out pitching shows, and hoping to have good news soon. Pitched two shows last week and a podcast. So.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Well, we have a couple of friends here that.
And what do we got over here? A cup of potatoes. A cup of potatoes.
Yeah, pal. Oh, your former boss is here too, dude. That's absolutely phenomenal. First thing I want to ask you, if I may, Jamie. He's like, I
know everything, so it's all you now.
The first thing I want to ask you, as a writer. So I know a couple of people that have written for the WWE that have actually worked in the WWE. I think along that era. But the minute that you walked in, the very first day, the minute that you stood in front of VKM, Vince McMahon, pal, and he has that. I've heard that he has a certain aura about him, whether it be positive or negative. But there's something about him that when you walk in, it's just like, holy shit. It's Vince fucking McMahon. My question to you is, what was that first day like walking in? And was it everything you expected? Or was it totally unexpected? Like what you saw? Like, did you just see papers all over the floor and people trying to throw up in garbage cans and all this other shit?
I would say, and actually, I love the question because no one's ever asked me that particularly, and that was a kind of emotional moment because, like I said, 14 years in the making, watching Monday Night Raw every Monday, or taping it if it was Monday Night War period, either taping one of the two, and so it was, like a lot of built up anticipation. So walking through that door, first of all, you're in the headquarters, and so it's a pretty interesting place, glass walls at times, and it has this very strange sort of mid-century like, I don't know, kind of like
there were dinosaur bones everywhere, right? Please tell me.
No, it's more like Jamie knows, the Hudsucker Proxy. Like this building is just a bizarre place. And so I think I walked into the writer's room initially, and I'm not sure if it's like this anymore, but it was a bizarre, has a red carpet, or at least had a red, like crimson, bloody red carpet. So it's jarring to the eyes, like Vegas, they pump in oxygen to keep you awake so that you keep playing the slots for hours and hours. That's how the WWE creative office was like this red carpet that was just blasting you. You're never going to go to sleep, because you're just so, like, it's just too powerful. And I met some of the writers there, Gewurz, David Lagana, and these people. And right off the bat, I don't know what it was, but they felt the need. I don't know. I don't think I posed the questions, but things came up about certain female performers and the people that they'd had relations with and such. And I was like, oh, stop. I was like, I can't hear. You're saying too much. You're spoiling these ideas I have of these people. So that was like right off the bat. And then I think it took about a day or two before I met Vince, because we had to get the script ready to show to him on Fridays. So I think I started like on a Wednesday or Thursday. And so then I went in on Friday finally and, got to meet Vince. And I think you're right. There is an aura. It's no different than when I've been on set in LA and somebody, sort of monumental walks through the door, if Mel Gibson walked on stage, the guy just, he is a legend regardless of any of the controversial aspects of his character. And I think Vince is kind of like that too. But the difference being that Vince, I don't think there's a negative thing with him. He's generally very professional in the office, and even on, at the arenas. But I think you can, like anybody that you're like, nah, this guy, he was probably a wild man back in the day. But I think I felt that there was a professional. I told Jamie after, I was like, I liked Vince. I was like, he seemed cool, like to me, and we had a good rapport. I mean, I tell Jamie one story that one of the writers, after a very long night in Vegas, we got in the private jet. I believe I slept maybe a half an hour. And the writer tells Vince, well, Milaro over here just bought a strip club. I may have been there deep into the night. And that popped Vince, and Vince got a good chuckle out of that, because I said, I didn't buy it, man. Like, I was swindled. And then just, there we go, Vince pops, and it was like, that's an odd moment in your life that you're on the private jet and, Vince is dipping into his jumbo shrimp and popping at some stupid thing that you say.
Interesting. How many coffees does this guy drink a day? Come on.
I think well, not only does he drink a lot of coffee, but I had to stock the cooler with a particular energy drink that he liked. It was like one of those like sort of workout post-workout, caffeine boost vitamins, et cetera.
Right, steroids. I got it. So that's pretty. Listen, and by the way, Jamie's prepared you for this, right? Because we're really tongue in cheek here, but at the same time, I don't want to shock you by anything I actually might say. Or
no, I'm not angling for a job there anytime soon.
All right, fucking steroid juice. Okay, so cool. So you pumped his you pumped the fridge with some of that good old fashioned pal, steroid juice. Fantastic.
It's nothing but IVs and just hypos just hanging.
No, I got to be honest. It was powerful stuff. Like because I mean, we didn't sleep a lot on the road like that, and there was a couple times where I took one of those for myself, and they were like, "We're running low on those purple, post workout drinks. Where are those at? Vince needs them." I'm like, but it helped me.
Was it generic? Like, was it just like something concoction? Like they had some dude like with a long white coat in the back just mixing it, fucking fizz coming out of the top. Like, well, what are we talking about?
No, this was of the caliber of your Muscle Milks and such.
So it's like Muscle Milk mixed a little bit with Red Bull and.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
It's fantastic. That's Jamie.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that's been taken off the market since because of deleterious side effects.
Certainly, yeah. But I did have a good story once with Vince, because I was one of the only writer, creative, or actually it seemed like employees at the headquarters who would use the gym regularly. So every night around 8 after work, I'd go work out in the headquarters. And 2007. That's when I was at WWE. And I was in there many, many times, and Vince would walk in with his trainer. And it was always an interesting moment where it was just kind of like, hey, pal, like giving me the nod, like, at least you give a shit about your physique, which was the first introduction I had in the writer's room, too, with Taz, where he walked in and goes, I like this fucking guy. He's got an actual physique, unlike you schlubs over here. And I was like, great, you're ingratiating me with these writers by shitting on them.
But isn't that the business though? Isn't that the way it is? I mean, I work with Ben Hameen. I work with Jamie, the vet, all the time. All they do is shit on me all the time, just to get themselves over, which is fine. They don't have to do that. They've done.
He's an innocent man. He's never done anything wrong or anything questionable his entire life.
Really quick, Frankie, you hanging out with us for the entire show, or are you just doing the top of the show? I'm
here for you guys.
All right, very cool. Because I do have a lot of questions, but I don't want to, I don't want to bore you with all these questions. All right, so listen. A lot of them might have to do with Vince McMahon. So you're walking with Vince McMahon. You're working with this guy. People are putting you over. You have a great physique and stuff like that. Was there ever a time that you felt a little uncomfortable around Vince? Now, I asked you, he has this aura about him. Now, you said that you walked in and they were having these conversations about certain people. Maybe they were, I don't know, in relationships, quote unquote, with, so on and so forth. Was there ever a time that you said, fuck, I worked my entire career to get to this point. What am I doing here?
That didn't come till later. I think that was the post Benoit sort of jitters, or the feeling of like, it wasn't just Benoit too. You're looking at a lot of writers and various employees, and you're looking at how whether they're happy and whether they want to be where they're at and how much they work. And to me, it struck me about 3 or 4 months into it where I was like, at the end of the day, unlike Hollywood, where you get the credit for your writing and your work, at the end of the day, this goes into the McMahon funnel, and it all becomes their work. And I felt like that wasn't worth the, all the stuff on the road and basically changing. Because I think that's what happens to people, is that it's a lot, and they get sucked into, be it Coke binges and whatever it might be, drinking. I do think that during that era, it felt like, this is obviously post Plane Ride from Hell. I actually think that the wrestlers around there, or the boys, around that time, actually calmed down and were pretty chill for the most part, and would like go back to the hotels and plug in their Xbox or whatever. Whereas the writers and a lot of the crew, those were the partiers. And so it was an interesting time period, and I wasn't hugely into that. Jamie knows, it was like, we didn't really get into all that at OVW. We hung out, but didn't need to affect our next day's workut, basically.
Have you ever seen Jamie do the helicopter?
Oh, no, I've never seen that.
Okay, just making sure. Because he's done that on air here. It's insane. I have to edit out very heavily. It's amazing what you can do. What's up, Jamie? What?
It's just hanging out.
All right, cool. So now you've been working for the WWE. You've been writing for WWE. Any portion of you? I mean, you're a worker. You're a trained guy. You're in good shape. Any part of you said, man, how cool would it be maybe if I could actually get in a ring and work with some of these guys?
I mean, that came up for me almost daily, because that's what I mean, I had Backyard Wrestling Federation, Small Town Wrestling. You may never have heard of it. It was before the advent of YouTube, but I was obviously into that, and that's what at OVW and all these things, and feeling a sense of like I could be good at that, and even Jamie, who's probably there for about a year or so, was like, this kid's a natural, where I forget exactly what you said, but
yeah, it's the aptitude that he had for stuff was very, very strong. Like the first time he would do anything, it would look like he'd been doing it hundreds of times. Because you just, if you're a fan of something, you just pick it up, if it doesn't matter, like, that's just how it was. So to me, he had a good aptitude for it. He had a good look. I mean, look, I tell him all the time, he's making a mistake trying to be behind the camera. Look at this guy. Hey,
right.
This is what my wife says too.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not that he can't perform. It's just that he's got his own different focus. I think I'm just gonna say it right here in front of you, in front of the world, that it's like almost stubborn. It's like, no, I'm gonna do exactly what I plan to do. I'm not gonna go in another direction.
Yeah. Well, there's this writer, or he's a painter writer. This guy John Lurie, that he's like my new sort of artistic. He was in a band called the Lounge Lizards and stuff, and Jim Jarmusch films, which probably Jamie hates. He's shaking his head. But the guy in his memoir recently, he said a line that I like, which was, "I don't want to be good at acting." In his case, because they wanted him to be an actor back in the 70s. And that's always been my feeling. Like, I don't want to be good at being an actor. All I ever wanted to be was a professional wrestler. And then I think when I was like third grade, I said I want to be a veterinarian. That's it. Those two things. And then, of course, the wrestling thing changed into a TV writer. But, that really was my goal. And in some respects, I at least had one match at a battle royal. And then, of course, I did have my first inaugural match with Serena Deeb in a mixed tag, which was a lot of fun. Mixed tag meaning she was the only female in the match and the best one. But
she's still the best one.
Yeah, for real. And I think like Jamie said, maybe I had an aptitude. It really was just internalization. I started throwing punches and felt like, well, this is a Scott Hall punch. And you don't realize what you're picking up, but it's all sort of made an impression on you, and it stays with you. But I almost, to answer your question, I almost did have that opportunity, not to be a worker, but there was rumblings, and then of course my name shows up in the dirt sheets, which pisses off a lot of people. Like, because I don't know what the assumption is like I did that. I messaged Meltzer or whoever, and it's like, I didn't do shit. I didn't message anybody. I think it was a rib probably, but the thing said that Mark Malaria, which was my nickname because it's close to Malara, friend of Brian, real good quality creative.
That's the caliber of writers that they have.
You know what it is? It's
this is such good shit.
Yeah. So honestly, it's I didn't care one way or the other, but the news was that I was friends with Brian Gewirtz, which was also not true. We just happened to go to the same college. He was much older than me. The news was that I was being considered for a backstage interview position, a la Joe Rogan, and I would have gladly taken that, but it just didn't come to fruition by the time I left there. But it did give me a lot of heat for sure. Michael Hayes and various people. Oh, why are you in the dirt sheets? I don't know.
I have a great question for you. I think it's a great question, Jamie. You're gonna be the judge on this one.
This fucking guy.
I think this is a great question. But,
can I ask you a question while I have both of you guys here?
Oh, fine.
What is it about New Yorkers? Like, the perception of you guys is that you have no time for anybody. You're always on the move.
Yep.
You're so friggin' tough. You sell everything.
Absolutely.
All I've gotten from you guys is a bunch of emotional bullshit, and you preface everything 50 times before you just come out and say it. What is that? Can you just ask the question? What is up with New Yorkers prefacing everything 50 times?
You know what? Speaking about that, I have the A Show, which is run by Colin Weissong right here, asking about the Yankees. And do me a favor, my friend. If you don't want to get blocked, like I've been blocking everybody on social media, I suggest you leave these comments out of the chat room. Okay? Is that fine? We don't talk about the Yankees. We're going to talk about the Yankees during the 3 count.
That's a New Yorker comment right there.
Damn, you goddamn right. But
that Apple Watch picture, and that's what did it.
You know what?
Go ahead and block me.
Block mid-show.
Fuck, I can't do that. All right, so here's the deal. Now, I've asked this of other people that have worked in the business, and I've gotten several different answers, but I've never done it really on air. So now I have you on air. I'm going to ask you on air. So there is how can I put this? See, I'm prefacing. Let me just ask. Have you ever been a part of a conversation where backstage the higher upper archies, or whatever the hell you call them, the big guys and big gals who are running the show,
the powers that be,
perfect, ever talked about, you know what, pal, I don't like the way this guy looks, pal, well, you know, and they use the word blackball, or, you know, have you ever been in a situation where there's a talent and you've been a part of a conversation? You don't have to name the talent. If you do, that'd be fantastic. But where you said, you know what, you heard them say, hey, you know, this guy, he didn't shake somebody's hand. You know, he didn't give up his seat in the locker room. We're gonna fucking bury this kid.
Yeah, you're talking about if I witnessed a burial.
Yes,
a live burial.
Have you witnessed a live? Have you actually seen the golden shovel being dug into the ground and having, you know, somebody thrown in?
I bet Tony D'Angelo's seen a live burial.
Oh, yeah. Forget about it.
I can't forget about it, unfortunately. No, I think there was definitely the occasion or two where I was in a production meeting, or, you know, which was shockingly, you know, creative meetings were one thing because you're an internal sort of cabal, you know, just writers or Vince or Dusty or whoever. When we would go to the arenas, we're in a production meeting, you know, going over the script, you know, Vince and the agents and everyone is there. At one point, too, you know, Triple H and people did actually come back. You know, I think he was out with an injury. You did witness at least commentary that was inching towards maybe we just don't like this guy, or that there's something rubbing us the wrong way. In my tenure there, the only name that really comes to mind was
Chris Benoit.
No, they loved him. I mean, he was. Oh. It was all a major shock, that whole situation. But it was Mr. Kennedy.
Oh man!
And it was really unfortunate because there was another guy too, Armando, who
Alejandro.
Jamie and I worked with. Yes, who was, I thought, quite talented and really, you know, generated a response from the crowd. But for some odd reason, not just Vince but others, they did not like him rolling the R's and sort of like taking all that time, you know, when he was introducing Umaga. And I was like, I don't get why, you know, he's getting a huge reaction. So I would say him and Kennedy both, you were getting the sense in these meetings and stuff that they wouldn't be long for that world. And
why?
You just named 2 guys that got themselves over completely on their own. Like there's no way that obviously nobody told Armando Estrada what to do, because he was doing that before he ever got there. That's what got him a job in the first place. Same thing with Kennedy. Like he was just some jabroni when I got to OVW, and then one day I just see him on Velocity having a 3-match series with Funaki or whatever, but he's doing the gimmick with the microphone, which he had never done. You know, so it's like these guys were 100% getting themselves over, and they don't like that. They don't want you to get over to a certain degree. They say they do, but they really don't. But go ahead, Ray. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying, what is that thing? Could it be anything? Could it be just a bad day? Maybe there's, I don't know, maybe there was too much energy drink in his energy drink that day that just had him like on edge. I'm talking about Vince McMahon. Like, what was it? I'm getting a phone call.
I think that's Vince McMahon or someone.
I'm sorry about that, but
no.
but like, what is that thing? Like that one freaking thing that is there a thing?
I don't think that
Mark,
comes
before you go, can I just say what I think it is, and then see if you agree with me, and then it's not their idea.
Take a drink.
They don't like when things aren't their idea that get over, because it's not theirs and they can't take the credit for it. Even if they could take the credit for it. Like if a guy gets over and they can just print money off of everything he does, it's still annoying that they didn't think of it or whatever. It's an ego thing.
I think
what
I
think it is.
I do think you're correct. I also think that this does not come from the top down, the way that people always talk about it. I think that, and I've seen it in the, TV business and everything else too. It foments, in the sort of middle to upper tier. People start talking. The kind of cliques have the formed cliques begin to give their take on things, and I think what happens is that trickles upward actually. And whether Vince is thinking one way or the other, it can sway that. And so Vince might have been like pretty on board with Kennedy, but
gave him his last name or whatever, or his middle name.
Right. But something about, sort of the combination of Orton, Triple H and Stephanie, or whoever the groups were, may have sort of swayed Vince one way or the other. I think it's very easy to say, well, Vince McMahon just sort of holds this, he holds the gavel. He'll be the ultimate judge one way or the other. And I don't really know if that's true, because I don't think he's always thinking those things.
Well, there's guys that we've known that Vince McMahon has been high on that he just won't go to bat for whatever reason. You would think, like, if Vince likes somebody, it wouldn't matter if somebody else tried to bury him. Like if Michael Hayes comes up and says something, or Bruce Pritchard comes up and says something, you would think Vince McMahon would brush him off. It's like, well, I like him, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. But I've seen that not happen on several occasions. And with a Kennedy thing specifically, I remember him, and if you listen to like interviews he's done recently, like somewhat recently, he almost like tries to take responsibility for his own actions back then, which is nice if you were taking responsibility for the things that you did. But he's trying to say, like, maybe he wasn't the most professional. No. It was none of that. It was completely Randy Orton didn't like that he was getting over, so he said, "You hurt me." And then he even tells a story about when he got to TNA and Booker T went up to him and was like, "They got you with the old working stiff, huh?" Like,
wow, I didn't know that.
Like the old, like as if it's such a cliche for people to claim that you hurt them in the ring. So it just happens so often that they just call that, the old, he got you, he was working stiff thing. So, that kind of stuff does happen, but it, like Mark said, and Ray, that's at that level, that almost sort of like top talent level, not necessarily top company, but Triple H just pulls Vince McMahon aside one or two times and then you're done. Yeah. Because even if Vince McMahon likes a stranger, Triple H is family. Yeah. So he'd rather just not deal with the headache of Triple H coming to complain every day. He'd rather just bury the other guy, starve him out, and either release him or let him quit.
Yeah, no, I think that's very true. And there's a certain mental capacity it takes to be the arbiter one way or the other about anything. And if you can sort of lean on others to do that mental labor, which I see it in Hollywood too, in TV, no one can have it. People often say this about a new writer or a new employee or whoever. They say, what do we think about so-and-so? And I've never understood that. I guess I'm a lone wolf in that way, that I don't judge someone based on room consensus. I judge people or have my own perspective on a situation based on my personal experience.
Isn't that why they phrase it that way too? So they don't have the responsibility of saying, I'm the one that buried him. They could say, well, we all thought. That's why they say, I don't like him. They say, what do we think?
Yep.
This is just typical bullshit and it's not just wrestling. It's any kind of environment where you have these sort of like people that know that their jobs in the long run or in the big picture are trivial to begin with. Creating entertainment is very, very important, but not necessary. So they already know they're frauds.
We do have a question from the chat. And it's actually, listen, it may be a silly question, but did you ever hear?
Goddamn Canada Spaceman.
If Macho Man and Stephanie had sex, and that's why basically Vince hated him forever, so on and so forth. Is that a thing that went around backstage?
I think I had heard or maybe saw it on a rumor site or something before I worked for the company, and so that was in my head as like if that happened, that'd be pretty insane, mostly because she was 18 or something like that at the time. It came up, but only in a joking manner, and I really don't think that story has any merit. I don't know why. There's something about it that feels like that would be an unforgivable offense that Vince wouldn't really like. Money wouldn't even trump that.
Would it though be unforgivable?
I don't know.
I mean,
I think from Vince's angle with his young daughter, being deflowered, which wouldn't even probably be the case at 18, but I just don't think it seems to hold any weight. Maybe Jamie, you've heard one way or the other.
I've heard this story. I don't know if it is true, but I have it is not out of the realm of possibility.
No, nothing is in the business.
Certainly not. But these are the kind of things that, you hear these things and then immediately your mind wants to go to dismissal because you don't want to believe that some, that kind of debauchery goes on. But of course it does. And, that'd be like the tame version of it. So, I'm not saying I believe it, but I'm also not saying I don't believe it. What else when you've seen the kind of things that people have done in the fractured relationship that Vince has had with people, and why was this, what else would it have been that kept the Macho Man away for so long until he was dead, before they ever even mentioned his name again? Why would he be so on the outs unless he did something to that, that huge of a level? I mean, again, that's not proof, but.
Well, we have another question from the chat here. We have Rad Rob, who is this close from being, fired from Hami Media Group because number one, he is a Red Sox fan, or should I say Red Sox? He's a Red Sox fan. Jumping in the car, going to the ballpark, all that crap. The way they talk over there, so stupid, Boston. But anyway, he asked, what's the relationship between Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon?
From what I gathered, and Shane was there, I'd say initially for about 2 months. And then I actually think it was shortly thereafter that he took his sort of brief departure to the land of MMA. And so I got to see the experience, the relationship between Vince and Shane around the time of the Benoit situation, which was interesting because it really illustrated the difference of sort of not just opinion, but the way that they would do business. And so Vince felt sort of the George Bush post 9/11 thing of like, we need to show the terrorists that we don't, Americans going to go back to shopping and, whatever. Like, that's the way Vince felt, was like, get back on the road, do what we do. We're a, 365-day-a-year company, no time off. Not getting that, like, that's partly what the media is grabbing onto right now, is that the life on the road and it takes a toll, and as if that really did necessarily affect Benoit. I don't think it did per se, but that was the impression. And so whereas Shane, his perspective was, hey, what if we did alter our sort of annual schedule and we all took a break after WrestleMania and did like a month off? Like, WrestleMania is the blow off, and then there's a month off season, and then we come back, in early, or I guess that would be like late May or early June. And it got a traction amongst some of the writers and people. And I started imagining too, like, yeah, you just put a bunch of great like DVD content. This is also, I think, 24/7 era, so not like the modern WWE network. And I think I was like, yeah, you just put on the best of Ric Flair. You put on this on Monday night. You'll get ratings for that because people tune into those things that don't otherwise have access to the DVD or,
And then, after that, you were summarily gone, and then Shane McMahon was exiled from the company for 9 years.
Yeah.
They gotta jump in. Did you get a chance to work with a good friend of mine, Andrew Goldstein?
I didn't work with Andrew. I always hear that. He's maybe one of the top people that when someone says, did you work with this person there?
Right.
They always say Andrew. So that's a good sign.
he's a good dude, man. He wrote for SmackDown, and I've known him quite a bit. And I remember he had mentioned to me that he had suggested during. I think it sounds like the timelines correlate just a bit, because I think there was also mentioned that maybe perhaps what they would do is during that month off, they would highlight young talents. So they would give the veterans the time off, and then the shows would be about building the I guess it was the OVW talent or the FCW talent at the time. During that time, of course, John Cena was, I think, 3 or 4 years into the business, and I have a follow-up question with that. But yeah, Ange was, he did mention that as well, but that never came into fruition. Was there ever a time that it came close to that maybe happening? Because I can't imagine Vince, being the carny that he is, taking any time off or having anyone,
No, I don't think it was ever going to really get any traction. I think if perhaps Stephanie had leaned towards the Shane perspective, it's possible, but there was just something about the way that there was a split, in the room. Now, it's funny when you listen to podcasts with Bruce Pritchard, because at this period he was, according to what he talks about, still sort of involved. I saw him twice in a span of 4 months or whatever, always in Texas, always on the road. So I don't know if he was working, sending in notes or what, but basically my guess is that folks like him, Stephanie, Pat, Michael PSAs, whoever, these guys were probably all like, nah, we don't take time off. No matter what tragedy occurs, that's just not what we do. So it's not like Shane had a lot of backers in that situation. I didn't, of course, express my opinion. I learned not to do that because Jamie saved my ass pretty much the first taping at OVW. So you have to set the scene here. This was before Greg Gagne took over. So I was really excited going down to OVW because Paul effing Heyman was running the show. And I was like, this is going to be amazing. I'm going to get to sort of work and learn under the tutelage of Paul Heyman. I say this as a beginner class guy down there.
Right.
And so there's the event, in front of the illustrious crowd at Louisville, Kentucky. Your row of, I can't even state it. It's so sad. Some of the individuals that were in that audience, but they loved it and they came every week. So they're the true fans. And Jamie has. Did you have that one individual that wanted to get your number and stuff all the time? There's probably a few.
Maybe.
Like the girl. There was not a girl in a wheelchair, but there was this other sort of there was a lot of that, which you always felt really bad. You're just like, I'll give you my autograph. I'm nobody, but I'll give it to you. And so that night, Punk was there, and it was a good show. And Paul Heyman sort of, prompts the audience, or all of us. The audience was gone, but the wrestlers and everybody, what do you guys think? Let me hear your thoughts. I raised my hand. I'm ready to give an opinion. It was my first night down there, and Jamie's like, "Get the fuck, put your hand down, man." I was like, "Oh, okay, I get you. I'm not supposed to." He asked, but I'm not actually supposed to respond.
Very cool.
Right.
Jamie, do you have a question? Because I have a couple of more questions, if that's cool. And we will be jumping into the 3 count really quickly, and then we will be actually reviewing NXT.
Does the 3 count have anything insanely pertinent and important in it this week? Because
other than MLB and the disgusting fact that they have a 1-game elimination.
Yeah. What else is there to say about that? Really, they're fucked. MLB's fucked.
Do you want to? We're going to talk about Facebook being down and reminiscing about MySpace.
None of this sounds good so far.
What else we got here? The Undertaker slapped some mark in the chest.
Yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory as well.
Self-explanatory, and then
I saw that. That was stupid.
It was fucking dumb. And
did you guys escape the Undertaker on Netflix? By the way,
I heard about that. It's like an interactive.
Yeah.
Apparently, Dana Brooke opened her fat mouth, and she's burying herself with Corey Graves, who apparently is like fucking Teflon Don in the WWE.
Oh, look at him.
I'm not surprised. He has everything you need, which is he looks cool but he's very he's corporately minded. You know what I mean?
Is he?
Well,
that's a 3 count.
In a way.
If
I think Corey Graves is actually pretty good at towing that line.
He is. That's what I mean. I'm saying he has the sheen of like counterculture. I do my own thing, but he doesn't live that way necessarily. I mean, he might in some respects, but like as far as his mindset for the company, he plays ball. He knows what he's doing. He's a good businessman, essentially. Whereas I say like Raven and guys like that, they never were going to be that guy.
And that's a good segue. Speaking about good businessman, because my follow-up question was: so you're there in the WWE in 2007. Now, John Cena, if I'm correct, made his debut around 2002. So right now we're 5 years into the John Cena run. This is probably like the biggest John Cena was at the time, right?
Yeah, I think so.
See, like you wanted to say something. Go ahead, and I'll follow up.
Oh no, that's maybe the most frustrating aspect of it, is that I desperately wanted to be working at the company during a period in which I could at least have like rubbed elbows with the Jerichos and Eddie Guerreros or whoever, somebody that I had, I guess, a little more respect for. Right. Not to be an asshole. It's just I didn't quite get. I see the merit of a Cena in the kind of Hulk Hogan, mass appeal sort of way, and putting asses in seats, and that I get that. That makes sense. I just don't like his art, if you will. I don't like the way that he performs, I guess, but he was a decent enough guy to me. He kind of gave me shit the first day I was there because I was on a dirt sheet. They asked me a very simple task as a writer's assistant. Can you give us every single IC champ of all time? I made a list. Well, guess what? The WWE didn't have a very good resource for that. So I went on a dirt sheet, and they had a much better breakdown. He comes in the room, sees I'm doing it. This fucking new guy's on the dirt sheets trying to, stir up shit. So that didn't go over well. But about 2 months later,
I'm sorry, it didn't go over well with whom?
Anyone. Like that was the attempt, was just to kind of like single me out and be like, watch this fucking guy, he's a snake or whatever, it's like, I don't go into the dirt sheets. I don't even it didn't make sense to me. Like, what would I have to gain from that? We all know at this point that there were certain members of the creative team, and probably JR and probably others, that had friendly relationships with dirt sheet people, and they didn't necessarily feed them information always. They just kind of like winked and nodded about certain things that were already in the ether.
There's 100 stories about John Cena like this that people don't ever hear. So these marks are always like, I've never heard anything about Cena. He seems like a hard work, like they just come to defend him and suck his dick. And there's like a million of these.
He's a little, he's like the love bully type of people. Like I worked with Pete Holmes, and Pete Holmes he's a bully, but he does it in this like lovey-dovey way. And I'm like, it's the same thing. It's just not JBL stepping on your feet, on the private jet. True story there. Or paying a limo driver to drive around for 3 hours and get lost on the way to your hotel. No, I shouldn't have been in a limo, but it wasn't my fault. Dusty Rhodes didn't need his limo, and then they just stuck me in it. And then JBL rolls the window down and goes, how long you work here? 2 weeks? You're already in a fucking limo? Boom. 3 hours later, I get to my hotel room. But speaking of hotel rooms, that was my story with Cena, was that I was sitting in a hotel room, finally getting a good night's rest, going from town to town. And I was like, it was very different when I worked there from what it currently is. Now you have a massive creative team, home team, road team, and, you can split the duties. And I don't think people are as spread thin. Back when I worked for the company, it was like 4 people on Raw, including me as the writer's assistant, 3 people on SmackDown, and 3 people on ECW. Very small crew. And Court Bauer was fired by that point. So, I got to meet him when I started, but then he got fired while I was there. So I'm up in a hotel room, enjoying myself, finally getting a good night's rest. And I got like the History Channel or some shit on, and nice thing to go to sleep to. And then I get a phone call. John Cena requests your presence at the bar. I'm like, oh, shit. So I go down, as you have to. There's no way out of that. And
could you actually see him?
Yeah, we're just all. Yes, I could see him, but I was initiated, so I was given.
Right. People weren't wondering why they were just like empty glasses.
Yeah,
at the bar,
me talking.
Right?
Yeah,
see him. Right. Okay, got it.
Yeah, some just this phantom shoveling chicken wings in their face. So he.
It's like that scene in Ghostbusters where Slimer eats the hot dogs.
Yes, exactly. But he actually could eat too. That was phenomenal about seeing that. You're just like, how are you eating all this garbage?
Well, you're on that much growth.
Oh, that's true. Yes.
So he was drinking that Vince McMahon energy drink.
Yeah. So it was. My ass got saved by some stupid new hire on the corporate side, some like marketing guy or live events guy who was a real jackass and was like getting drunk and trying to like josh with the guys and whatever, and was like he basically. His stupidity trumped anything I could have done in that moment. Plus, Michael Hayes was the one that decided he wanted to get rib me that night. So when he saw that I was sitting at the table, he was like, "The fuck are you doing here?" And I was like, "I was asked to come down by John, Mr. Cena, the WWE champion." He goes, "I don't want to see your face. Get the fuck out of here." So then I started to go.
Did he do the peacock walk and shit too when he walked away?
He was just sitting down, probably half in the bag, man. But so I listened to him. I was like, I don't want to stay here anyway. So this is the way out, because John Cena asked where I went. I'll be like, Michael Hayes said I had to get the fuck out of here. So I start going to my room, and then Ron Simmons grabs my arm and he's like, "Nah, man, no, stay. You're good. You're good. He's just fucking with you." I'm like, all right, Ron Simmons, I'll listen to. He seems like a good dude. So I did. Then about an hour later, Michael's, in his stupor, turns around and was like, "I thought I fucking told you to go," And then Ron Simmons just starts laughing, and I was like, and then you have to laugh at that. You don't sell it, but you just chuckle internally because it doesn't matter. It's stupid. And anybody who used to get really riled up about these pretty stupid ribs, they would get more shit. And so I was good at not selling it. Did I ever tell anybody about the JBL 3-hour? Taxi getting lost, no, or limo getting lost. No, I didn't tell shit.
You just
I'm telling you now. But.
Yeah, no. I mean, but you're saying you're asking a rhetorical question, like, did you ever tell anybody at the time that he did that to you? Did you You can't complain about a rib to somebody else because then you're gonna get ribbed worse.
Yep.
I know that because. Former Raw general manager Brad Maddox complained about a finish, and then I made sure that his finish was even worse because everybody came back to me and told me he was complaining about the finish, and it was my finish. So I said, okay, well, I'll make sure that this spear is extra stiff then. Not me personally, but a guy I know. I got a guy, Big Cat. So not a bear cat.
So not a bear cat. I don't want bear cats. So now you're writing for WWE. You're getting ribbed, by these. Now is it different? Now we have people maybe in the chat right now, people that are watching, that are perhaps just aspiring to write for the WWE. And tell us the difference between somebody like yourself, who actually is trained. Were you OVW trained? You trained.
Yeah. Well, unless you want to count the UW tape I got, where John Cena was on that with Samoa Joe, that I learned in my childhood home, the bedroom.
So you're a Rip Rogers guy too? Okay, cool.
No, I was in the intermediate class for, I'd say, like only about 3 or 4 weeks while I was there. Like, just I would go in because Jamie encouraged me. It was like, you're doing well enough in the beginners. You just go up there and do a few days a week too, and pay the extra money, which was great because honestly, then you're actually like really, doing more actual like working.
At that time, Rip would take you if you were pay him. That's basically what it was. Well, it wasn't always like that. It sort of did have to be vetted, no pun intended. Okay, I intended that, but at a certain point, he was just like, once the WWE stopped paying Rip Rogers to be the developmental teacher, and he needed more supplemental income, anybody could take his classes. So Mark got some Rip Rogers training there. I remember that. You know how Rip gives everybody a nickname, like I was a vet or whatever, and he called Mark Dracula because he worked at a restaurant and he came in and changed at the arena, and his restaurant was like one of those like pirate shirt looking things, right? Like
well,
it was like a
captain's quarters over there on the river and the Ohio River, and I had to wear like a white shirt, you know, as the top, and so I would come in, yeah, and it would be unbuttoned, and I don't think I had a widow's peak then, but like certainly more hair. Yeah, I had more.
He had a widow's peak, and he had the black hair, kind of like now, but more neat. And and Rip called him, "There's fucking Dracula." So it was pretty great.
Yeah. He also said, "Do you suck dick?" The first time I met him.
Who's who? Ooh, what?
Rip, that was Rip's thing, was to always be like, in this business, you better learn how to, like, you know, do the job. Basically, I was like, I'm good.
The funniest thing ever was after Mark had been gone for a while, and when he got the job at the WWE, I said, "Oh yeah, Mark got a job as a writer's assistant." And Rip was like, "Those guys usually last about 6 months."
He was right.
that was his reaction to it.
Right. He was right.
So my question basically was, for somebody who, like yourself, who is a worker, professional wrestler, you came in to do that job. How different is it for somebody who's coming off the street, not off the street, but somebody who's never been in the business? Did you see, like, so during that time, I would assume that they weren't hiring a ton of TV writers or dirt sheet writers like that piece of shit, Ryan Satin. Yes, I can say that. I don't know if you want to say that, but I've worked with him enough to say that he's a piece of shit, Ryan. But neither here nor there. Somebody like that coming into the business, you know, they rib you and they joke around with you, they fuck around with you, they put you in limos to drive around for 3 hours so you can get lost and can probably lose your job. That's fucking hilarious, by the way. But all that being said, what's the difference between somebody who wants to get into the business who never actually took a bump in their life and somebody like you who, you know, you got a couple of notches on your bump card?
I honestly think that you're fine either way, because it's like working in television or, you know, screenwriting or something. You have to have life experience. That comes first and foremost. And, you know, nowadays in WWE, they probably would prefer you just have stand-up comedy experience, or that you did write for a soap opera, or you wrote, you know, they don't need anybody to have real sort of, you know, road experience as a worker or anything like that, because, you know, now I think it is important, just like I think it's important in working in screenwriting and TV and stuff, to have actually been a truck driver, to have actually worked in the prop department, to have done these jobs, so that, you know, when you write something in a script or you change it on the fly, now that person has to go do that, you know, fix that thing in a day or less, and it's almost impossible. I know that, and I can actually, like, anticipate the needs of the various departments and things. And I think that goes the same for the business too, is that it would be helpful, and also helpful in the sense that if somebody was coming in there, that they wouldn't sell it. You know, that's what Terry Runnels said on the Dark Side of the Ring, of, like, you know, everyone told her, like, don't sell it. But I'm glad that Cornette and people, like, corrected that moment and said, like, it's not chiefly an issue with women and harassment and all that. It's for everything. Like, you just don't sell it because you're going to get it worse. So that's a thing that, like, those little pieces of the business that you can, that either someone can explain to you beforehand or whatever, that's helpful. So when you come in, you last longer than 6 months or whatever. Because I helped a guy get a job at the company, and I told him exactly what to do. I was like, don't fucking give your whole personality. Keep it all under wraps. Be this kind of, like, fly on the wall for the first, like, 3 to 6 months. Be helpful, but don't pitch too hard. Don't be precious about your ideas. Just be there and be easy to get along with. But he couldn't do it. He was like, he just, you know, there's a lot of pride there, you know, and I think these little things are helpful for people to last longer in these jobs. But I encourage anybody to try to, you know, if they love it and they want to do it, that's what will always stand the test of time, or people who are truly passionate about these things. And that's like your Ed Koskis and Dave Kapoors. They, at the end of the day, are, like, you know, true fans. And I think that's what partly kept them there, and a lot of money.
Anything that you maybe perhaps regret? You know, I mean, so you worked, first and foremost, let's lay this out. How long did you actually work there? And is there anything that you regretted that maybe you could have done differently, or even taking the job in general? Like, do you regret ever working for WWE?
I don't regret it whatsoever. I had the opportunity. Jamie and I were in conversation at this time. I could graduated school, and I was like, I had literally the option, because I tried to get in contact with TNA at the time, because I didn't know if I was going to get the WWE job. So I was like, I want to have a backup, and I was offered a job with them, but it was a stipend internship. So I would have gotten paid, but very little, and then I would have just been like living down in fucking Orlando or whatever. No offense to anybody who's from Orlando. My brother lived there, and
Orlando sucks. I have
it wasn't great. Yeah, it wasn't great.
It was the worst.
Yeah, so
and Boston's even worse, by the way.
I'm not a huge fan of Boston, but again, no offense to anybody from there. Whatever. So I honestly, would I have learned more in a smaller place? You always hear that, like, but how could you ever pass up Monday Night Raw writer's assistant, or TNA? So I do think back to that, but I'm very happy I worked there. It was for a little over a summer in 2007. Again, I say the summer of Benoit, and great experiences. I probably learned more there in 4 months than I did in 4 years at college. Like, the life experience that you could get in those circumstances is invaluable and lasts a lifetime. It definitely colored my perspective on the business, and I don't think I'm as big of a fan now, partly
I hear
due
you
to
hear
that
a lot, by the way.
Yeah, because you're pulling the curtain back. But what's good, though, is that when people ask me about your Vince McMahon's and even Stephanie's and people, I don't really have anything negative to say, because they were all fairly good to me. And even JBL, even getting ribbed and having him be a bit of a bully, I look back now and I go, it's pretty funny. Like, I don't really, and now granted, I'm sure people got it much worse and they didn't find it funny, but I could roll with the punches maybe a little bit more. Maybe I was used to that with friends and whatnot. But my biggest regret, and I have no idea why I did this, I think it was a self-sabotage of sorts or something. And I don't know, there was a girl I was dating at the time, and I think I did want to just leave the company. I don't know why I did it, but I was asked by Stephanie once at an event. We were all...
This is not starting well, by the way.
No, we're in the production
starting
meeting.
Great.
We were in the production meeting, and we're going through who's going to help who, who's going to assist in this backstage, pre-tapes or whatever. And Vince is going to go here and do this, and the writers are going to work on this thing. And Stephanie had said, I want you. And she points to me. Okay. Now, granted, I'm like, I don't know, 50 feet away or something. And she's pointing in the sort of, everyone's seated against the main table. Mm-hmm. And I guess I see that she's pointing at me, but I don't want to believe it in my head. And she's like, you're going to like shadow me, basically. Find me later or something. Lucky. And I don't know why, but I shied away from it. And I used the opportunity to sort of like start my exit from the company, in a way. It didn't take long, about a month about 2 weeks later, I did hear like, yeah, Stephanie was mad at you or whatever, but it didn't lead. I left on my own accord, but like, I don't think that helped. And I went and talked to her after that and was like, I probably shouldn't have done that or whatever, and she wasn't kind enough to say, how old are you? And I was like 22, and she goes, oh my God, we hired somebody straight out of college. They didn't even know. I think I came across as a little older or something, but they were pretty surprised that I was, straight out of college. And she's like, yeah, you need to find yourself or whatever. And I was like, I don't know if that's it, but I understood what she was getting at. And I think she's right. And that you do need to stick out jobs longer than, basically try to at least stay a year, I think is a better way to kind of get a true glimpse into whether it's something you want to do. That would be my advice to anybody for whatever job you're looking at doing.
I just want to throw out there that Stephanie McMahon is my all-time wrestling crush.
She is quite stunning and quite there is a deep kindness in her. She might be petty like all people are, but she's truly like, there's something in there that's like, there's a sweetness to her that's very authentic and real. So
hold on 1 second. We have some breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, Stephanie McMahon is not the Dragon Lady we all believe her to be. More news in 3 seconds.
Well, I would just like to throw out there that the pedigree can quickly be turned into a shoot depending on how hard your arms get cinched up. So,
what?
You must always keep that in mind. At any job.
Stephanie,'s fucking hot. I can say that. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. So, your advice to now, like I said, I believe there are different tiers. Like you have people that, like Jamie and yourself, that have actually been in the business. You've worked in the business. You've trained. You've taken bumps. You have a guy like me who my father was in the business for well over a decade. I grew up around the business. I was in the ring with Johnny Roz. My father trained me. You know what I'm saying? But I never worked in front of a crowd, so I can never say that I was ever a wrestler. I was never a wrestler. But, I grew up around it, and I grew up around the ribs, and I grew up around, seeing these people. That's different. And then you have these other people that, I guess, people within the pro wrestling world will call them marks or whatever, that have watched the product for over 20 years or 30 years or 40 years, and they believe that they're experts in the business. There are different tiers. Now, within those tiers, which of the 3 tiers do you think, if any, can prepare you for this job, number one? And number two, let's say you're at the lower end of the tier, and I don't mean to degrade anybody, being a mark or whatever, but somebody that's never actually been around the business, how can they actually kind of get their foot in the door? Like what would be the advice you give that person? Because I believe, because I'm gonna shoot right now on all you fuckers that are in the chat right now. You have never been punched in the face. I can guarantee that, except for Colin. Colin's pretty tough. Other than that, I'm sure none of these jabronis ever took a bump in their goddamn life.
About 15 seconds before Frank says he was punched in the face.
Oh, that Frank's lucky he doesn't live by me.
This morning, by his wife and 3 daughters. All before they left the house, they just did a punch train on him out the door.
Frank is a wonderful person. I would love to see his child just punch him right in the fucking nut. Anyway, so please, that was a really long question, but if you can give us a good answer, I would appreciate that.
Yeah, I think amongst that sort of hierarchy of folks you were mentioning there, I really don't think one or the if you have the right connections and you can work your angles to get in there, I think you can make it work no matter who you are. I will say, and this is becoming a reality. Well, maybe it's always been this way, but
I'm sorry, you're breaking up a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I may ask you to repeat yourself again if
no problem.
I don't get the floor. Okay, cool. Go ahead, please.
No problem. No, I was saying that I think that you can be any one of those people on that hierarchy you mentioned and make it work at the WWE or really any place where you're doing creative work. However, what I've learned, sadly, coming to learn this in TV and film, I should have known this about wrestling too. These are family businesses, and if you do have sort of those connections, I think you're going to go farther, and you'll not have as many impediments to get into it because, for whatever reason, you have that initial in, and also you're being vouched for by people. So I think, I've seen it in my business too. There are poets, George Saunders or these sorts of people, writers whose kids end up becoming TV writers, and there's really not much of a barrier to entry. And it's because once somebody knows who that kid is, it's like, well, we want the daughter of George Saunders on our show, and it's like, whereas, the son of a carpet salesman, that's me, my dad ran Ron Millar Carpets in upstate New York, there's no cachet there. So I will say you might find that those people are going to kind of break in perhaps easier. Will they stay? Not necessarily. You could be the guy who has been watching it their whole life and knows the product and understands it and has a grasp of these things and goes in there and could stay the long haul, or, stay for the long haul. But it's a question of getting in. And I think for anybody that's seeking these things out, one very surefire way is to connect with people on LinkedIn, because it is ultimately a very corporate company at this point. So find people that you might have a connection to via your college or whatever, go on LinkedIn, chat them up. Don't ask for a job, but ask for what one could do to prepare for such a job and connect and sort of do your due diligence in terms of the networking. That's definitely one way. And other than that would be apply on the website. But yeah, it always helps to know somebody, or at least attempt to get to know somebody on the inside.
Number one way to succeed in life is know a guy.
Oh yeah.
And it helps also if you have absolutely zero sense of shame, you know, but knowing a guy is more important than that. So I would say those two things.
I really wanted to kind of cap this off with a question for you, Mr. Frankie. Forget about it. Now I've been working with Jamie for quite some time. Okay. And from everybody, now look at Jamie. Look at the he's like, what the fuck is Ray gonna ask? I'm gonna ask you a question about.
I'm reading the chat.
Don't do that. Hold on, excuse me, cough button.
I know, right?
So my question to you is, look, man, I know Jamie okay right now, and I think Jamie's a fucking great guy. I would love you to shoot on Jamie. I would love you to tell the fans, the people that listen to this, what a positive impact the veteran had on your life in this business. Go.
Well, as I said, I mean, I already did do a shoot on, well, it wasn't a shoot. I guess it was a work shoot. That was one of my first promos in the ring. Is they said, like, you know, just target somebody here. And I like turned, and Vet had already, like, Jamie had busted his arm. He had a metal rod in his arm, which is the same type that the Undertaker had a few years later. And I saw him sitting there at the announce booth, and I cut a promo on him. And it was a lot of fun because then he stood up and cut a promo on me. It was a good time. But yeah, I would say, you know, Jamie has been pretty instrumental, not just in this, in a wrestling business, you know, kind of like steering me the right way, you know, to avoid the pitfalls of voicing my opinion to Paul Heyman that fateful first night at OVW, or, you know, really any of those situations during OVW. But also after that, you know, he has been a cheerleader of sorts. It's a bad term. I'm sure there are, you know, he doesn't have the pom-poms, but he, you know, has encouraged me in my writing and stuff, and he reads my material, and he, you know, knows what I'm trying to do out here. And it's always been very helpful to have somebody who's supportive creatively, but we also see eye to eye in things, and he can actually give me constructive notes that will steer me in the right direction. So he's been truly like his namesake. You know, he is like this vet. There's an old soul there, and that's why he can embody that type of character.
And I want to actually go to Jamie. And Jamie, I mean, you know, you are that type of guy that I noticed that you're the opinion haver, but your opinions have a lot of validity. I can't talk validity. God damn it!
As long as your voice sounds good, it's how you sound. It's how you sound.
That's not
what you
how I
say.
sound. No. I could.
That's what's important.
I'm terrible at what I do. But anyway, Jamie, you know, Jamie's a great guy, so on and so forth. And I've grown to know that Jamie does have that old soul, like you said, and does have that spirit to help people. Jamie, how has Frankie, forget about it over here, affected your life and in the business and just personally, so on and so forth? He says some pretty nice things about you, man. I mean, I know this isn't supposed to be a love fest and shit. Fuck.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, if you know, like, I don't put a lot of stuff over, but Mark makes me laugh. So right off the bat, if you can make me laugh, right, you know, you're over with me. And I see somebody that's receptive to just me being, I can be blunt at times. I try to be diplomatic sometimes, but it's different when you, especially when, not even like, okay, so like I can give my opinion to somebody about something and it could be like disregarded because it's unnecessary. However, if somebody's doing something that's, you know, bad for them or bad for others, and you tell them how they can stop it and you're ignored, you know, that's pretty frustrating. You know what I mean? Like, I think we can all relate to that at some level. Right. So, you know, even in that, just any sort of like, Mark's always been very receptive to the things that I've said. and I can be honest, and he can be himself. And you know how people put on a facade sometimes around certain people or whatever, they act a certain way around certain people or whatever. He can be himself, I feel, and we can communicate on a good level. So I've just enjoyed, just knowing him as a person. Nothing else from that. He doesn't I don't necessarily get anything from him. I'm not angling for hookups on the projects and stuff that he's done. I'm just there to help, because it's for whatever reason, helping Mark, giving Mark advice, being a friend to Mark is fun for me. I don't know why. It sounds weird, but it just is. So, but yeah, he's one of my favorite people, and it always cheers me up to see his name come up on my phone or anything like that, because I know we're gonna, have a nice good chat. So, but that's basically how I would sum it up. There's probably more, but
I know you're not angling for a job, man, but if I get a TV show, you'll be my JR. I'm gonna ask for weekly contributions and notes to the script.
So you see, rule number 1, know a guy. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
but that was my favorite thing at WWE, was the writers would be like, "Fuck, we got JR's notes. Oh, why does he do this? Why does he care?" I'm like, because he cares, because he has great opinions and he has something to offer, and all it takes is to read his 2 pages of notes, make minor adjustments, and Raw could be improved. Our script for Raw could be 13% better, which is to me better than what it was.
They just don't want to do 13% more work. So
never.
Screw JR, he's out of touch. So yeah, I mean, well, we brought you here for a very specific reason, Mark. But before we move on, I mean, are you good on time? Because I know we discussed some things, but you sure? Okay. Yep. I don't want to rush anything. You guys,
are you ready for this?
You guys, well, hold on, Ray. I got a question for you.
Oh, sure.
You guys want to talk about Poppy's album?
Oh, fuck this.
Ray doesn't seem like he wants to talk about it. I promised the people a review, damn it. Are you gonna make me not deliver on my promise?
Will you stop?
Oh, damn it. Oh, Gorilla.
All right, fine. You know
Great soundbite.
It can be brief. We don't have to spend too long on it.
In the words of the great Gangrel,
do you want to be a mark? Or do you want to leave a mark?
Which one are you, Jamie?
Did that have some Tony D'Angelo music playing in the background?
Maybe. Perhaps. All right, fine. You want to talk some Poppy? Let's talk some Poppy.
All right, let's briefly talk some Poppy before we get into NXT.
Can you give her the full WWE Hall of Famer?
Yeah. We're talking about Poppy, the first ballot future WWE NXT Hall of Famer celebrity wing, and she was so gracious as to contribute music to the show, which we have used on our show to intro the show. And we are sad that we have Wale now, but it's been an up and down road. Ray didn't like Poppy at first, but then he started to be sad when she said goodbye. But don't worry, Ray, she'll be back, and maybe at TakeOver she's going to do one of her trademark live performances, so you get to see her again. But anyways, so she released an album called Flux this past September 25th, and I was able to get my hands on it and listen to it. And I wasn't going to talk about this at all, but as I was listening to it, I was like, I wonder if this would be a nice little thing to talk about on Next Level Wrestling Review. So I'll go to you, Ray. What is your initial thoughts on this, or did you even bother? I mean, you didn't seem too into it.
Did I even bother to listen to the album?
Yeah, you sent me a GIF of some guy jumping out of a window. You said, there's
Ladies and gentlemen, future NXT Hall of Famer. In the celebrity wing, it is Poppy with Say Cheese.
Which was not on this album, by the way. But that was on her last album, which was all music specifically made for the NXT, I guess. But Ray sent me a GIF of a guy jumping out of a window. I think it was from the Hudsucker Proxy, actually. And then he sent me the GIF of the guy like putting the gun in his mouth or whatever. So I want to get Ray's thoughts on it, and we can quickly move on.
You want me to be honest with you?
Yes.
You want me to shoot?
Yeah, just keep the gun out of your mouth.
I thought it was the shits.
Whoa.
I thought
Why is that?
the album. I thought it was overproduced.
Woo.
I think
Overproduced.
her vocals are overrated.
Okay.
But she can still get it.
I see. What a clean synopsis.
All right, I didn't listen to the fucking thing. I'm sorry.
Damn.
It's a fucking work. I'm sorry.
That was good though. You had me believing it.
No.
Although it would have been somewhat disingenuous because
You think so?
I think you would have enjoyed it. That's why
All right, you know what? For you, I swear.
It's too late now.
Father in heaven. No. It's not too late. It's never too late, right? Right? Am I right, Frankie? Forget about it. Never too late. Never too fucking late. I promise you, on my dad's grave.
All right, look, you don't.
He's looking down at Dad. You're looking down at me in heaven. Don't look at me that way. I'm gonna watch the album. I'm gonna listen to the album. I don't think my father's happy with me right now, but it's fine. Is that lightning? Anyway.
What's crazy is you ride so much public transit. I didn't think it would be an issue to just put on a couple songs here and there on your way to and from work or anything. But
here's
I don't want you to hurt yourself or anything.
Let me explain myself to you, okay, Mr. California guy. Frankie, forget about it. Let me ask you, what part of New York are you from?
I'm from upstate New York.
You're from upstate New York.
North of Syracuse, yeah. So real upstate.
All right. You never been to this? You ever been to the city?
I lived in the city. Lived in Washington Heights.
Oh my God! So you know that when you're on the train, all right, if you're on the D train headed to Brooklyn, like I do at fucking 1 o'clock in the morning, you're not trying to fucking zone out.
No,
you got the crackhead over. You got exactly. You got the crackhead. You got to sit in the chair. See, there's different seats in the train. You want to sit by the door, number one, and you want to be able to see the whole train. They have these little seats that you can sit by the window and fucking kind of look out. But that's when you get the fucking stab in the neck. You don't want that. Okay,
They
so
don't seem to mind you taking pictures of them.
Well, let me tell you. Let me explain something to you.
There's the preface.
You know why I do that? I do that to piss fucking people. So what I do, Frankie, right? They have this whole mask mandate here in New York City where the MTA says they're gonna fucking, bill people $50 and give them all these fucking bullshit. MTA isn't gonna do shit. They don't have anybody. You never see a fucking cop. You never see an MTA worker, and if they're there, they're on their cell phone 95% of the time. They're not doing shit. Track work, my asshole. Okay, don't fucking get me started on this shit.
Why aren't they cleaning up New York City?
It's fucking disgusting. Yo, if you go down to Chambers Street, which is it's probably the richest area in New York, and you go into the train station, it looks like fucking it was hit by an atomic bomb. Jennifer, my wife, was coming home, guys, okay? And she saw a rat carrying a fucking Dunkin' Donuts bag.
And 4 baby turtles.
Not even a Starbucks bag, a fucking Dunkin' Donuts bag. Are you
got
kidding
good
me?
taste.
Anyway, what? You like Dunkin' Donuts better than Starbucks?
Yeah, Starbucks coffee is garbage, man. It's garbage.
Well, I'm more of a fan of Vince Russo's coffee. Go to thebrosters.com.
That's right, Brosters, bro.
Oh, shit.
Get yourself, bro. But anyway, neither here nor there. Please,
I make my own coffee also.
I do.
So you know.
Well, let me before
Italian espresso, not to be on brand.
This is
Sorry, James.
Hey,
this is Bustelo.
Oh, I love Bustelo, man. My wife's Cuban, Puerto Rican, so.
Oh, God bless you. Oh my
should
God.
be a yellow cup.
How many times have you been stabbed?
Yes. In the heart, figuratively, emotionally.
No, my wife is Puerto Rican too, brother. I feel you.
He's out of heart space for blades at this point.
But let me stop being a dickhead. Please tell us about this album really quickly before we jump into NXT 2.0 10/5/21.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, what surprised me listening to it is, okay, before I go to you, Mark, because I know I could count on you. This album, Poppy's been doing a little bit of scream metal lately, and that's not my favorite type of music, but she's able to always bring something melodic to the music, even if it's not necessarily my thing, right? So on this, I kind of expected her to kind of stick with that same sort of pocket that she's been in, but it actually went a different way. This stuff was straight like 80s sort of like power pop, punk pop, like it's 80s 90s stuff. It felt like it gave me a nostalgic feeling listening to it, like when I was just as soon as I was tall enough to put like one of my parents' records up on the turntable and listen to it, I've been listening to records, and my parents had a really eclectic music taste. So, you know, when I'm hearing this, it you know, even though it's new music, it reminds me of being a kid, just looking at an album cover and being like, this sounds like it would be good, and then going and putting on like a Missing Persons, or putting on a The Cure, or something like one of those type of bands, and then hearing this stuff and be like, okay. This reminded me of that without specifically being any of that. So it was very nostalgic feeling for me. It was better music than I was expecting. But what did you think?
I felt similarly. I'm generally not into the WWE's rash of kind of generic metal sounding stuff for the last 10 years or so. Like, I think that there's ways to approach music, particularly like the theme songs for, like, I wasn't a huge Drowning Pool fan, but somehow that song worked so well for SmackDown. You know, like they just have to do a little bit more sort of focus grouping, you know, about the music that they choose. But Poppy feels right, weirdly enough, for what NXT is representing, because it's got elements of like baby metal, you know, and I'm a big metal fan, so it's not that I don't like metal, but like they got a little bit of baby metal there in the sense of like, you know, the juxtaposition of this like cute sort of waif, you know, woman, and then the like pretty ferocious, you know, guitars and stuff. It also had a progressive element in this last album, it seems like, to your point of like, it went in directions that you, like, blending of genres and kind of doing a little bit of like Miley Cyrus's last album, which was like she's hearkening back to Stevie Nicks and pulling, literally, she's like on the song, but she's pulling some of that while also keeping these pop sensibilities that are, you know, throwback, retro, but done in a modern style and production. And I think that's, so to your point though, about it being overproduced, it was actually probably,
he didn't listen to it. Don't forget.
I know he didn't. But
what?
But it was produced well. It may, and sometimes things are overproduced. I actually do feel that way. I actually feel WWE is overproduced. But I actually think the album was mixed pretty well. So it sounded good. Would I listen to it regularly on my own? Probably not. Do I think it's applicable to NXT and sort of their new vibe? I know.
Well, just for context, hold on.
Sure.
Just so everybody's clear, this album is just her album. It's not connected to the WWE in any way.
I know, but I mean, you know, connected in the sense of like,
the reason that Poppy works well for wrestling is because she got started on YouTube with a gimmick of she's like an AI that's got a physical body and is trying to figure out what Earth is. So she's evolved from starting from making those little short YouTube videos and stuff like, I'm not in a cult, you know, or those, or the Hey YouTube videos, or Monster Energy drink videos, or whatever that she did. She made these little short YouTube videos, which are all on her channel. And then she made some music, but the first music was very bubblegummy pop. So it's transitioned from the bubblegummy pop to the harder stuff to this screaming metal, and now back to like a more traditional like rock sound for this latest album. But she's the perfect thing to use for wrestling because, you know, she's got a gimmick and she's playing a character and she's using that character in her music. So that's very relatable to wrestling, and that's probably what got her on the radar of Triple H and whatever, and they brought her in to do some stuff with them. So it's cool.
I wanted to quickly throw out there that this song right here is officially retired. We're never using this ever again. So when we introduce NXT, oh god, so
we retired it, but we still had to hear it one more time.
So fucking boring. But two things before we jump into NXT. We have a new NXT song, which me and Jamie, the vet, have both discussed, and we felt that this song it'll pump up the crowd a little more. You know, we think this would be a better song for NXT. Number one, we're gonna let you hear this out, you know, when we get into NXT, which it will be in a minute or two. But here's the second thing. Mark, at the end of so when we do the live show, we go off to some music and stuff like that. It's pretty much generic stuff and stuff that I had a buddy produce for me. But on the podcast, on the audio podcast, we always end the show with a classic wrestling song. Okay, so I think we did American Males, which is fucking epic. American Males. I mean, it's incredible. What have we done? We've done what have we done, Jamie?
We've done everything, haven't we? Well, I don't know. I don't listen, so
you don't listen. Fantastic. You're fantastic. So I want to ask you, what's your favorite WWE, WWF? I don't know if you don't go as far back as me, WWF, but
when they weren't using music.
Well, I'm almost 50, kids, so it is what it is. But what would be your favorite theme song to go off this podcast to? You get to pick one.
You didn't say WCW. Is that
it? Could be
cool?
It could be fucking WCW. It could be TNA. It could be USWA. It could be down south Georgia wrestling. What's the Kellogg's Frosted Flakes Championship you wrestle? Where's that from, Jamie?
What, the Kellogg? You said the Kellogg's Frosted Flakes?
Yeah, the belt that looks like a box of cereal.
Where's it from? Oh, that was the Michigan State wrestling, MSW.
Okay, so you get to thank you. So you get to pick a song, whatever you want to go off the air to. It can't be this one.
I have a soft spot for that mid-90s Four Horsemen track.
Oh,
because it's so dramatic. You know what I mean?
With the fucking donkeys running up the hill and shit.
Yeah, it's just like it has. Yeah, you have like the hoofs. You can hear the hoofs.
Yeah.
It's
What's
really
so great
dramatic.
is like that's just one of those songs from like the music bank.
It is
the random music bank that like all the songs just have like, you know, they're all like the song name is like T-0130J or something like that. You know, that's the Booker T song. And like that Goldberg song that he still uses to this day. I swear to God, I've seen the History Channel use that on one of their like programs talking about like
I've heard the Hardy Boys theme on other things. It must be public domain or at least cheap.
So we're going with the WCW version of the Four Horsemen theme song.
Yeah.
First version.
Yeah,
because they redid it a little bit later.
Yeah,
and it was like slightly different.
5, 6. Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, but listen, guys, are you guys ready? We'll get to this. So you watched NXT 2.0, right?
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
Good, because I didn't. Fuck it.
What? Wait,
no,
what?
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I watched it.
Don't do that, Jamie.
Sorry,
ladies and gentlemen. It is time. Oh, this is the new song. This is the song. I think this song is fantastic. Anyway, It is time for what?
Prefacing.
I'm prefacing. Prefacing. It is NXT 2.0 10/5 2021. One.
Ho! Yeah, boy, we doing big things, big belts, big rings.
Ladies and gentlemen,
biggest big could ever be.
it is NXT October 5th, 2021. This show had some amazing matches. A fatal four-way tag team championship match, and the headliner LA Knight, dummy, versus Mark Henry Jr. Wow, fuck, dude! Like my
the show had some amazing matches. Maybe I didn't watch it.
Oh, maybe.
Shit. All right, well, let's try it and see.
I want to agree with Cujo62 though that corporate ministry is up there too. That's definitely top 5 for me too.
Bro, I mean, unless you're coming back on with us, bro. I mean, this might be your one shot. So, I mean, you want to go corporate ministry?
No. We're doing the Horsemen. I'm just saying I wanted to agree that indeed the corporate ministry, when they merged those two songs, it shouldn't have worked, but it fucking worked.
It did fucking work. And you know what?
That's what she said. Or he said.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen. We jump into NXT. And I got to tell you something. This is possibly the greatest talent in NXT history. The greatest women's wrestler, probably the greatest wrestler of all time. Ember Moon comes. She's shit. I fucking hate her. I'm sorry, guys. I am not a fan of Ember Moon. Now, listen, Frankie. I'm very, very honest with my reviews of NXT. I will preface here and there, as Jamie would say, but I'm going to be honest, man. I am not a fan of Ember Moon. And what happened on this show? She gets in the ring with Mandy Rose, okay, and Mandy goes over. She wins. Now, my first question, I'm going to go to Jamie first. Jamie, what did you think of this match? Obviously, I always ask you that. What did you think of this match? Number two, do you think this is the beginning of the end for Ember Rose on a Ember Moon on a WWE roster?
I don't know about the second one. I'll tell you though about this match. I liked it.
It was a good match
because the women look good in there, and I'm not talking about like looks, even though it's Mandy, right? But I'm talking about like their actual action. Especially Ember. She came out of the gate fast and angry and violent. And I don't even know if they had like an ongoing issue, but she acted like she did. So she acted like they were already in an angle. And this is the kind of speed, this is the level of gear that women's wrestling needs to be in at as like a baseline. You've got to be at least this coordinated, this crisp, this speed. So even the dive she did out of the ring made sense in the context of what they were doing, and it looked good, and she knocked JC's hat off, which was funny. And it's also funny that she just ended up wearing the hat later back at ringside, like she just put it back on like it was no big deal. Like you would think of that, like, oh, this bitch hit me. Well, I'm gonna go put my hat back on. But anyways, the only thing I would change is the finish here. If there was ever a time for the jump up, this was the time. You had two people on the outside. It's 3-on-1 essentially, and Ember just gets beat straight up with no help from the outside, especially after she already attacked him. So you would think it would just take one thing, like one grab the ankle, one, get up on there, distract the ref, one pull the hair, one something, just something to turn Ember's attention so she can catch that knee and go down. The finish itself was fine, but there should have been something involving the other two because they're there. Why are they there if they're not going to get involved? And you protect Ember a little bit if you're doing that. The fact that they didn't protect her, maybe that's more to the point of your second question. So,
right.
Mark?
So I'm going to go to Mark real quick. Mark, and before you answer the question or you get into the match, we always have a butt scale. Okay, it's 1 to 10. And Mandy Rose, for me, she's a 10. I think Jamie, she's a 10 for you too. Is that correct?
Yeah, she's getting there.
She's getting there, so she's not a 10 yet.
Oh, hold on. I'm gonna use a standard Mark Millara quote. We'll just stop all this right now so he doesn't have to answer. I don't objectify women.
Got it.
All right. So moving on.
What kind of fucking burial is this shit?
No, I love my wife. I
love my wife too.
As I said, she's Cuban, Puerto Rican. So no, the booty scale, it's off the charts already for me. Everything is literally downhill.
God bless you.
No, but there's that redhead chick in the that trio. I forget her name.
Priscilla Kelly, if you will.
Oh, Priscilla, baby. I didn't tell my story about Dusty reading the SmackDown script, which is one of my favorite ones to tell because
save it for the future. You may be back one day.
I'll save that for the future because that's a fun one. Basically, one of the writers just wasn't there, so it does like, I guess I'll read the SmackDown script or the ECW script. So I think that Priscilla, she's there's something special going on there. That's all I'm going to say in terms of your booty meter.
Booty meat? What? Yeah, that's very special. What about the match though?
Yeah. Oh, the match.
Yeah, the match. Yes, they wrestled.
Yes. No, it's very forgettable, and I didn't really because basically when I done these review shows and stuff, I try to write down notes. Nothing really came to mind other than Ember Moon has a lot of flash, and they give her stuff like neon glowing black light, whatever. And it's all that's fine, but I couldn't tell you what you're trying to say the character is. She's a futuristic pagan. I don't know what you're saying.
She watched Mad Max Fury Road, and she was teaming with Shotzi for a while. So
originally she was a wolf girl, right? A werewolf girl.
Yeah. Well, she was a Twilight. That's
right. It's right? Some sort of Twilight pagan-esque
Now
thing.
she's
I don't know.
Furiosa.
Right.
And yeah. And she
Yeah,
also
and
has
at
a lot
least
of booty meat. So.
Well, right. And the other girls, I have to say, at least for those performers, Mandy's trio there, I buy that. I buy a sort of click. It's not like it's like Mean Girls for wrestling, like that. That makes sense. I don't to use TV.
But grown up
writing.
stripper Mean Girls more so than, halfway innocent high school Mean Girls.
Sure.
Did the
Wait, what hold on, I'm sorry. Media M5. What? Mandy's ass too big for her legs. Okay, stop it.
All right, block media.
Oh God.
You hear that, Hitman? You're getting blocked.
Frank, Frank asked a good question. Can you milk a cat? Yeah, Mike.
Well, somebody answered that. I think you can milk anything with nipples. I think Cujo62 she's got it. She's landed on it. That I do think vampire, werewolf, road warrior, lesbian is a pretty good approximation of what they're going for.
Yeah, I do agree. So look, I'm gonna agree with you guys. I think it was a solid match, I guess, for the girls. I think the one thing I took away from this match, I said, shit, I didn't know Mandy could really wrestle. I think she did a decent job. I don't know if it's a fact that she worked with somebody who's a better in-ring worker than she is. Because look, as much as I shit on what's her name on the Road Warrior lesbian, I really do think that she is a really good in-ring wrestler. I think she's good at what she does. But Mandy Rose, I don't know. You're right. Nothing that popped out. Not like Poppy. Not like Poppy's album.
Yeah, Poppy pops out. But the whole match was Mandy just getting beat up, and then she hits one knee at the end, that's good. For what this was, is a short match. Mm-hmm. It was just designed to get Toxic Attraction on the screen, doing something against somebody that's not involved with something right now, so they can get a win and Mandy can look good. But this was actually good. It wasn't like competitive back and forth. It was more just like Mandy Rose can barely survive in there, and then boom, one knee turns it around, and it's all over. And that part of it was good. It may be one of the better things they've done on the show in a while, in the sense that it seems like they know what they're supposed to be doing for television. Not every match has to be like a pay-per-view quality match on regular TV. So
I don't know if it goes uphill from here, but I mean, we do jump into this very, very next match, and we have I was gonna say Eli Drake, but it's LA Knight.
I say dummy. Yeah.
LA Knight versus Odyssey Jones, aka Mark Henry Jr. So I'm gonna go to you, Mark. Can I call you Frankie?
Whatever you want.
I like Frankie. Frankie sounds cool.
Yeah,
Frankie, forget about it. Mister, forget about it. What did you think of this match, buddy? Anything stuck out to you? What do you think of Odyssey Jones?
Not quite there yet. And
do you like the way he just flails his arms and just yay and fucking
I don't
yay.
like that, and I don't like the ring attire. I think that they need to work on whatever he's projecting. But it's just unfortunate because he's a big dude. But LA Knight, and that's a star. Like he's projecting. He's basically like if Rob Conway had charisma. Like he's fixed the gaps of these sort of, because there's no doubt that Rob Conway was a good worker. It just there wasn't much there. But LA Knight, it's like that guy is, they need to strap the rocket to this dude sooner than later.
But he wasn't made by Vince McMahon.
Well, his name is LA Knight. I mean, like that's enough. Like you gave him that, just let him go now.
I don't know, Jamie. When I think of LA Knight, I think of those cool '80s sneakers, the real colorful ones. Remember that maybe your girlfriend wore when she was 14, and you were 14 too. I'm just gonna put that out there.
LA Gear, I think what you're talking about, right? Or British Knights.
I was thinking
they just
more LA
took two
Gear.
shoes and put them together. Is that how he got his name?
Vince McMahon probably saw like an old British Knight commercial. Hey, who's that guy dancing like a genie back and forth? It's fucking MC Hammer. He just saw that commercial for the first time on YouTube. What is this YouTube thing?
Dude, the next guy they sign is going to be named Rebo Converse.
Oh God, on high. What did you think of this match, man? I mean, LA Knight, it's a fucking star, dude. He's right.
Well, this is what I said with Ben last week. Neither one of these guys can afford a loss. These guys have to be put against other people that are just going to do jobs right now. LA Knight's been beat into the ground. I think the only match he ever won was like the one match he won the $1 million championship in. And then
match.
Odyssey Jones is already like, he's had like 4 matches and he's like lost 2 of them. So that's really not helping at this point. But what I will say about the match though is here's the jump up, because Andre Chase comes out and gets involved, and that's exactly what I was saying was needed in the other match, and it shows that they're not averse to doing it, because here it is. But otherwise than that, you know, it was good because it was short and got everybody involved and got some TV time. So moving on.
Hey, Mark, would you ever think about taking a couple of classes at Chase University? That's the guy with the college.
He's not aware of the gimmick because he doesn't watch this shit on a weekly basis.
Oh, sorry. That's
this guy that jumped up on the apron, Mark, is Dean Douglas 2.0. So
yes,
I gotta say this NXT has a lot of gimmicks right now that are just throwback in the worst possible way. You don't throw back to things that were utter failures. You know, you find something that clicked and do adjacent. You know, but some rough.
Not when you're stubborn, you don't. That's exactly what I was talking about earlier. Damn it, I'm going to get this teacher thing over. Damn it.
Yeah,
it's going to get over.
I forget, did I even write down his name because I was so turned off by it? But whoever the woke guy, like that whole gimmick.
Oh, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that because that became a big deal all over social media. Fox News reported on it. MSN, everybody reported on it. So it was a big deal.
I gotta say that's probably what they're going for, is to get that. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's a dead gimmick. There's nothing there. You can't. It's not a wrestling gimmick. It's right to censor.
That's what I
2.0.
Well, you know, I don't know. I think they should bring Stevie in for that, but neither here nor there. Okay, so LA Knight wins this match. Jamie, you're wrong. He actually won a match, and he hit the old honky tonk neck breaker gimmick there.
Yeah, I was talking about before this match. I think he had only won one.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So now he's 2-27 since he's been at NXT.
Not bad. But listen,
he's not 0-29.
Listen, we're gonna take this to
the moon. Woo, yeah!
We got Cameron Grimes. He's interviewed backstage. That's all I got.
Sucks.
What do you got, Jamie?
He's challenged by Pete Dunne and the Ridge that got drafted to SmackDown. And then there's another Ridge on this show that we'll talk about.
Yes.
But he ignores that challenge and just goes to hit on random women. So who do you suppose these women are just standing around backstage? Like,
Mark,
can you just come in? Did Zion Quinn let him in? Is that where they came from? Like,
are these women carrying Dunkin' Donuts bags in the subway? If you know what I mean.
I see what you're saying there.
Is that possible?
Baby turtles.
What is these for, baby turtles? What do you think, Mark?
No comment.
How do you like Cameron Grimes? How do you like Cameron Grimes, man? What do you think of his promo skills?
I think you talk about a rat. I mean, that guy's is just fucking like I don't know. I don't get it, because it was months and months ago, maybe a year ago, I was on Jamie's other podcast and he's like asking the same question, and I had to spend some time to sort of analyze this guy. And I was like, I don't get it. I don't know what they're going for. Why is he wearing that hat? It's steampunk. I don't care. Whatever it is not good, and I'm not buying it. So that's my take on so many of these things, is that it's like a lot of effort is put into the presentation. What they're communicating isn't all that clear, and if it is clear, it's like it's not connecting. It doesn't mean anything. You know, I'm not like, oh man, that guy knows what it's like down in the bayou. He's a bad dude. Like, what does it matter? You know, like Barry Windham being the stalker. Well, he's not going to hunt wrestlers. So what?
That was their mistake. He didn't hunt a wrestler.
He'd be the wrestler hunter.
He just wrestled them.
The wrestler hunter.
Yeah, dude. Everything leads to a wrestling match. So with all these weird gimmicks, it's like, what is the point? It's the same thing with if you're going to be a professor of your own university, and then what? Wrestling match?
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't how we always settle things? I got into an argument with my friend at work, my coworker, and we fucking had a fucking Broadway downstairs in the boiler room.
Well, that's great, Ray, but what was your gimmick? And what's his gimmick?
My gimmick was the angry doorman whose baseball team lost yesterday. His gimmick was
expect to be signed by NeXT in the next couple of weeks.
I was going to say though, I buy that more. There's emotional context to that.
God damn it, and he's a Mets fan, so we beat the shit out of each other downstairs in the boiler room. My job. That's what we did for an hour.
And you work your way back upstairs, and you got the urn, but Paul Bear turned on you, right?
God damn it!
All right.
So we got the NXT World Heavyweight Champion Tommaso Ciampa. He comes to the ring, but before that, just after that, he doesn't talk yet. We have Von Wagner,
the undrafted Ridge,
the cranial Ridge. Von Wagner. He's just chilling in the locker room. Kyle O'Reilly and rolls up and asks him, hey man, I got your back. What's going on here? What's going on here, vet? This guy is a void of any fucking personality, in my opinion.
This wasn't the last time. This wasn't the last time we'd see it. This was we'd see this again. Like basically here, he's like they have a little heart to heart, where Kyle's like, "Hey, I don't need your help." And then later on, they come back and he's like, "Hey, I'm the only one that's gonna help you." So it's like, okay, all right. At least they didn't last too long. At least they didn't spend an inordinate amount of time on it. That's the best thing. Dude, speaking of that, this show, like I looked through my notes and I counted it. Okay. There are 29 items that they did on this show, whatever they are, whether it's one of these, a match, whatever. There are 29 different instances of things that happen. Not necessarily full segments, because sometimes they put 2 or 3 or 4 into one segment, which is from commercial break to commercial break, right? So, there's 29 things that end up happening on this show, whereas, in previous NXTs before this whole revamp, sometimes you'd get like 12 or something like way less than that. Like they just spend longer. So if a skit is bad, it's bad for twice or 3 times as long.
Yeah, that's the SNL way. Is like they could actually benefit from more segments, even if they're bad. They're just shorter.
Right. The only thing that was funny about this skit was the premise when I pitched it, and it never should have gotten fully written, but here we are, and now we've got to fill 7 minutes. That's just...
Excuse me, Jamie, my landlord is here, and I think we have a little bit of a leak, so I'm just gonna mute this real quick, and I'll be right back, okay, guys?
Okay, we got it. All right, now let's zoom through as much of this show as humanly possible, because this is the shit. And I'm not from New York, so I'm not going to preface anything. I'm just going to say it.
Okay, well, can I also throw in real quick? These are some of the notes I had. Duke Hudson. Actually think he's embodying the character. I don't know if he's a real poker player, and it's hard to tell because if he were a real poker player, I'm not sure why he's playing in a porn studio version of a poker room. Second,
hold on. We can get to this chronologically. Okay. I'll just say what happened, and then if you had a note, go ahead and add it, okay?
Sure.
So, yeah, back to Ciampa in the ring after he had to sit there and watch those two talk in the locker room, I presume, on the screen.
Right.
Rick Steiner Jr. comes out. He wants the belt.
Depressing. I'm sorry. You cannot name the man. I know that's already old news, but it depresses me every time I see it. It depresses me.
We beat that in the ground and kicked it in the dick. Yeah.
I see it. I see the guy. I see the potential. I see his look. I see everything, and I go, "What are you doing? You can't. You can't call him that.
You can't." But they did, and they are, and they continue to. Next is the little Gacy promo, like right before he gets up to his match. Getting his shit over. Like this is the first you've seen of it, but I think you can kind of already guess that this is as deep as it's ever going to get. Is what you saw right here, and they're just going to keep doing it. Indy Hartwell and her buddy walk in. Now, chat, maybe you could tell us, is this her real life girlfriend at this point? Persia, whatever her name is. She walks in on Tian Sha doing weird stuff in the closet and then backs out. Anything to add on that? No?
Nah.
Yes? No? Okay. Then we get Ike Manjiro versus Gacy. So you probably haven't seen Ike Manjiro before, but his gimmick is that he's a handsome Japanese man that has a closet full of suits with his face on it, and he wrestles with a suit top. Is he your favorite wrestler? And why is he?
I like the idea. It's weird and out there, very Japanese sounding, but I think, having watched New Japan, I could see, 10 better people to fill that role.
Well, then that's why they're in New Japan doing better things, and they would never lower themselves to this. But the kid's all right. And then after, like he's got a crazy gimmick, but his fundamentals seem pretty clean. And then after that, there's a stare down with some guy in the Aryan Brotherhood in the audience afterwards with Gacy. What was that about? I've never seen this guy before. And they don't say anything, but maybe Ray knows.
He's going to turn out to be a proud boy or something.
So I got to apologize real quick. So my landlord,
preface the apology?
Well, I'm going to preface by saying that apparently there's a leak in his basement. He thought it was us, but
is he below you?
I literally, yeah, he's below me. Well, don't be fresh, okay? We literally I just woke up and just jumped on this thing, so I haven't used the. So I think it's somebody else or something else. It doesn't matter. Okay. So where are we at right now?
Well, we've gotten all the way up to the when Gacy does the stare down with when Joe Gacy does the stare down with that guy that's clearly some sort of a neo-Nazi in the audience.
Okay, so that guy, apparently, I had pulled this up because this is part of the 3. It's Parker Bordeaux. Apparently, this guy was. That's who.
So definitely Aryan Brotherhood. Got it.
Possibly. Yeah. I mean, she shaved his head, so on and so forth. So, have you gotten to the match yet with Gacy? Have you talked about his character yet, or anything like that?
I said I talked about his promo a little bit and just said that I think that even though Mark hasn't seen this before specifically, that this basically sums it up, and this is as deep as it gets, and they're just going to keep repeating it weeks and weeks and weeks.
I noticed something, and tell me if I'm wrong, Jamie, with this.
Okay.
Was there
I'd
something
be happy
a little,
to also?
Well, was there something a little different with his delivery, the words that he used this week? Do you think that maybe he went in even more on the whole, being a leftist SJW type character, like that they, because apparently they had pulled him off of WWE.com and they had scrubbed him from NXT or whatever, like 2 weeks ago because of all the bad publicity WWE was getting regarding him on Fox News, so on and so forth. And I don't know, it's almost like they took him off and they brought him back, and now he's even worse than what he was before. Cornier, sillier, more deliberate.
Possibly seems the same to me. I feel like this would have been the natural progression even if no one had ever talked about this.
Right.
Like, it's just the thing is uncreative, and like I said when it first happened, this is an idea of this is somebody's idea of a rib to make fun of certain people. This is a Republican's idea of what the left thinks, and they're just playing out their little revenge fantasies on TV. They're having the imaginary argument with nobody. And you guys, just like Jim Ross does on his podcast every week.
And I'm sure you guys, broke down the Tommaso Ciampa ring promo, right? That was awful.
Nothing to break down. I just said Rick Steiner Jr. came out, and then we laughed about his name, and then moved on. Did
you notice, Mark, that so they've been doing this every single week on NXT? They say stuff like, "Oh, he's wrestling. He's a dog-faced gremlin." They refuse to use the word Steiner or Steiner line, but then this week they say the geeky guy, what's his name, Glasses Joe McGee, whatever his name is, Gimmick Jones, that sits behind the desk and talks. That guy, he says, "Holler if you hear me," or if you hear him. So they're using all of this Steiner terminology, yet calling him Braun Breaker.
Nonsense.
It's fucking ridiculous. Anyway.
Okay. In the interest of preserving all of our sanity and some of our precious time, why don't we just fast forward a little bit to the main event here? Not the main event, but the real main event. Not the last match, but the main event, and skip through some of this crap. If you don't mind, Ray. I mean, we're already at the 2-hour mark, and this is going to be a 3-hour whopper if we don't. We get a short Cora Jade vignette. She's on wheels. Great. All of a sudden, Duke Hudson's a poker player out of nowhere. Congratulations.
Right. Stop right there. Stop right there.
Real quick. We got to go.
Oh, you got to go?
Mark, no, I'm just saying we what is it? What do you want to say about Duke Hudson and the skateboard?
I'm just saying, this is another case where, again, Mark, you made a great point before, where WWE is using all these stupid gimmicks. I feel like we were back in the fucking 90s. I'm waiting to see a clown come out with some clown little people. That's what I'm waiting for. This is ridiculous. They're gonna have they're gonna bring in a 7'5" guy and put on a fucking a gimmick with fucking fake muscles painted all over him in a fur diaper. That's what I'm waiting for. This is ridiculous, bro.
And he plays poker.
He's a poker player. That's his
He's
thing
a
now.
poker playing Sasquatch. That's what it should have been. If Giant Gonzalez had played poker professionally, he would have got way more over than he did. But yeah, no, yeah. So yeah, he's a great poker player that we've never heard of and has never played poker, even though he's already been on TV. And what's he going to do? He's going to have a wrestling match. Okay.
And let me ask you, Mark, what makes him a great poker player? The fact that he has 12 gold chains on, or that he wears that fucking silk shirt?
You need sunglasses. That'll seal
those.
the deal.
God, you know what?
He won those chains.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna become a poker player. Go ahead, talk, guys.
All right, so Cora Jade's doing the Johnny Ace where she has a skateboard and doesn't ride it. Frankie steals the opponent's spot. This is totally legal. The ref makes the match. Jade gets a roll-up win. This doesn't look good for Frankie. I think she's kind of on the outs with the management here.
You think? Just like her stomach was coming out at the top there?
Damn, yeah. I mean,
what?
So it's
You
kind
see
of
my
that little diamond cut out just so you can see the certain flab.
You like my poker face?
Yeah. MSK and GYV and everyone are backstage. This is a hit everyone's music segment without playing any music, so at least we save some time with that. Gacy wants a shot at Ciampa. Then we get Pete Dunne versus Cameron Grimes. Kyle O'Reilly gets involved, so once again shows they're not averse to the distraction finish. I mean, they're willing to do it every other match except the one match they needed in, which was Mandy's match. Anything to add about this match? Did you love seeing Pete Dunne and Cameron Grimes just mix it up?
Mark?
No comment about this one, guys.
Oh,
really?
Okay. All right.
I thought this was a Meltzer 5-star classic.
Oh shit. Well, what did he give it? You look that up on Wrestling Observer right now, or Cage Side Seat, or whatever, or
I'm on it.
CageMatch.com while we. Tony D'Angelo gets a montage of vignettes. So like they're not quite all of his vignettes, but it's sort of like a mashed together, fast forwarded version of some of the great lines. Like,
still checking.
Let's just say the problem gets solved. Like, oh man, how many weeks did it take to come up with that, Jim?
What is?
I don't know. What is Mark? What is wrong with people that they can't even come up with a better innuendo for murdering people than the problem gets solved? Why is this the worst thing?
Because they're not real fans of this. They don't know what it is. They just watched The Sopranos during lockdown and then said, oh, that's an idea. Let's go with that. And there's some guy who's, the whitest version of an Italian American. I know that we are white, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not Siciliano,
Right. All right. Well, we're almost to it. Yeah. Hit Row accepts the challenge of the Escobar made earlier in the show. They accept it bilingually, so they'll be going to SmackDown, but not before they drop this belt. That SmackDown can't have a North American champion, I guess.
Can I just say one quick thing?
Mm-hmm.
This is another situation where, see, my favorite thing about pro wrestling is the unpredictability of things, and pro wrestling hasn't been unpredictable since probably AEW. It's pretty unpredictable at times. I'm not a big fan of AEW, you know the deal, but I'm starting to like the product a little more because I find myself more and more surprised when I watch different shows. With that being said, this fucking guy's going to drop the belt, right?
Yeah, of course.
And
when you draft a whole group and one of them is a championship, you really think they're going to have an NXT championship on SmackDown? Like, that's really going to happen?
It's not going to happen. So we know Legado del Fantasma. I mean, what's the guy, the main guy?
Escobar.
Yeah, Pablo
Santos
Escobar. I'll call him Pablo. Pablo Escobar is going to be the North American champion. That's going to happen. Please continue.
Yes. All right. We're finally here, guys.
Hold on.
This is what we've all been waiting for. This
Are you
is
ready?
what the chat's been waiting for. This is why we have Mark with us in the first place.
Oh, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to...
Tony D'Angelo said.
And just so you know, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, for talking so much shit, for posting on my Facebook page over and over again, yes, ladies and gentlemen, I have blocked Big Vito LaGrasso.
Oh.
And he is fucking hot about it. What are you going to do about it, Big Vito? Nothing. Yes, Big Vito has been blocked on my Facebook.
Wow.
He's
all right.
He texted his wife, Noelle,
Mm-hmm.
and she asked me why I blocked him. I said, because he's a dick.
And she said,
She says, "Yes, I know."
But can you please unblock him so he doesn't cry to me?
She
Is that
actually
what she said?
did stuff like that. Yeah, that's right. I'm burying you, Big Vito LaGrasso. If you have a problem with it, you know where to find me.
But not Noelle, because she's the sweetest.
I fucking love Noelle. He is so awesome. Big
All right.
Vito.
Okay, well, okay. So my first note on this, I'll just throw my note out there. Holy shit, he really is Frankie Forget About It. Like, this is exactly what Mark wore in the ring when he made his debut. The velour pants, the fucking white tank, everything is the same except Mark's hair wasn't stupid like this. Like, the hair's stupid.
What was the ponytail about?
Shaved indie wrestling ponytail. I mean, that is not Italian American.
Right. Yeah, well, as soon as you find out you got this job and you're getting this gimmick, you get a new haircut. That's exactly what you do. Yeah. You're not still taking your indie bookings as whatever stupid name that you were using before. But yeah, and he said, give me a break too much. But overall, like I was pleased with it. It wasn't too bad. Not as much grappling for a Buffalo University collegiate wrestler as I would have expected, but everything looked decent at least. So, and the crowd seemed to be enjoying him, at least ironically. So I mean, I got what I came for. But what about you, Mark? You're the namesake. Or well, let's go to Ray first and see what you thought.
Well, the first thing it's funny that you mentioned it. The first thing I said is, why does the guy have a fucking ponytail?
Yeah,
because listen,
we had two weeks of vignettes where he didn't turn his head to the side, and then the one on the docks, like he turns it, we're like, what is this shit?
Exactly. It was so number one, his hair color wasn't what I expected. I thought it would be a darker hair color. That's number one. Listen, if you're gonna go the whole,
look at Cujo's comment.
Where is it? Let me see. It says right here. His family doesn't have interest in the barbershop business.
That's great.
Oh God, I got a cramp. Oh shit. So it was. I don't know why that little thing distracted me. Number one. Number two.
You're not the only one.
Yeah, it was a little distracting. I think the guy. I expected more from him. I mean, he wrestled Cheeseburger in the ring. Who was he wrestling? That kid? What was that kid's name?
Malik Blade. And according to Bernie DC, he is the nephew of Daryl Dawkins, Chocolate Thunder nephew.
Really?
Yes.
The Dunk Monster.
Yes. So Malik Blade is from Lovetron, and he was trained by Devon.
Didn't you work a couple of towns in Lovetron, Mark?
What?
Didn't you win a title with Lovetron?
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Oh, that's okay. Anyway. But listen, I think Tony D'Angelo. So it's weird. I think the kid that he was wrestling got too much in. He really showed a lot of character, which he was very loud and pointing and shit and saying things during the match. And I was like, all right, I can dig that.
Like, give me a break.
What's that?
You say, give me a break 50 times.
Call the other guy a moron. That's like not even an Italian. If you're going to do that, you got to say, yeah, you jamoke or some, Italian American slang. You can't just say moron. Yeah.
It was off. It was just off, guys.
Well, I don't blame the guy. The guy seems nice enough. I blame the gimmick. I blame the character. It's a paper thin character. I blame writers, creative, whoever. It's just, there's nothing there. I mean, you got the commentators making pretty obvious Godfather or mob related references, and you're like, what? Why are they doing this? Why are they saying sleep with the fishes and all these dumbass, sort of adjacent thing? It just didn't work, and I feel bad for everyone involved. It's embarrassing.
So I'm going to ask you a question, Mark, real quick. Is this kid a babyface? Is he a heel?
Well, that was also the vignettes played as a sort of cocksure heel of sorts, but then the guy comes out and he's like, hey, clapping, and it's like, no, there's only one Nunzio, and I wasn't doing Nunzio as Frankie Forget About It. I was doing a kind of like every stereotype rolled into one sort of deal. But yeah,
wouldn't a guy like that though think he is a babyface?
He would.
Shouldn't he do that?
But they're not playing it that way.
No, they're not playing it that way, but he's doing that, and then the people are I think they're just laughing at it the way we laugh at it. Like we're enjoying Tony D'Angelo ironically because what else are we going to do? So I think that's where the fans were. They were like, this is so stupid. We're just going to cheer it and have fun with it because what else are we going to do? We have to sit here. So
yeah, but that's not a great long-term strategy for any gimmick.
They don't have long-term strategies.
Do you think there's any chance? Do you think there's any chance that because he got such a positive reaction, I'll go to Vet first, because he got a positive reaction with the crowd, that somebody got in the ear of the play-by-play crew and it's like, all right, put him over as a babyface?
No, I think they went exactly with whatever they were going to do. I don't think any of these robots, like fucking dude, are you going to tell me Beth Phoenix's improv skills are up to this on the fly challenge? I think Vic Joseph is basically a department store mannequin. Do you think he has the creativity to be able to pull something like this off? No. I'm sorry. They did exactly what they were going to do from the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, I mean, the guy pretty much, from what I'm understanding, is doing your gimmick, but worse. Is there anything you can give him? Like, can you give him some advice if he's listening in? I'm sure he's listening.
He needs to read Steve Sharippa's Goomba's Guide to Life, and he needs to learn all the nuances because that guy will lay it all out. But that's my final advice. And before my wife kills me, because I told you about her, I should probably get going, guys. Appreciate you guys having me on, and I'm not great at social media, but you're all welcome to follow me on Twitter. I'm at KillingTime_23, and on Instagram I'm at KillingTime23. And I really love being on here, guys, and I'd love to do it again. And I, obviously got more stories if you want to hear them.
So could you repeat that again? Because I'm going to follow you right now at Killing Time.
Oh yeah. Killing Time for Twitter, KillingTime_23. And then Instagram, KillingTime23, no underscore.
Is that the Gabagool?
That's the Gabagool, yeah. But it's for spooky times, Halloween.
Okay, spooky times. The Gabagool. Oh, cool. He spelled cool. I can see.
He's like a child. Look at him.
Got the fucking Italian, the spaghetti.
It's so good. Everything's great. Well, thank you so much, Mark. I really, man. This was a blast. I could see how much fun Ray was having asking you all those questions, and
I did. And I'll be honest, I could have asked 1,000 more. And again, I am married to a Puerto Rican as well.
We'll do it.
So I know that you have to get the fuck off. See, my saving grace is
it's already losing a kidney over this. It's gonna happen.
My wife is working right now. That's why I get to just talk so much shit for so long. It is what it is. But
she's definitely not going to listen to it.
No, my wife is not going to listen to this. Is your wife going to listen to this?
Hell no.
Oh, thank God. All right, cool. So we're good.
So
we're good.
All good, man. Thank you guys so much.
You good?
I'll be back. You gotta have me on. I got more stories. Get that Dusty story in.
Oh yes, the Dusty story. So
come on whenever you want. Forget about it.
All right. Forget about it, guys. Cheers to Tony D'Angelo. Hopefully he can, find his roots, his real roots, because he needs the work.
And download a Kindle version of the Goomba's Guide to Life.
Goomba's Guide to Life. Steve Sharippa. Come on, guys.
Just send it to him, guys. All right. Thank you so much, Mark. You can bow
out
whenever you're ready, my friend.
Peace, guys.
Thank you, sir. All right. I feel so bad that Mark had to watch this fucking show.
I know. He's such a good sport, though.
Such a sweetheart. You think his wife is going to literally beat the shit out of him?
No. Well, in the figurative sense of like he's gonna get chirped at on the drive to where they're going, and then he's gonna get chirped at the whole time while he's there. There's gonna be a lot of passive aggressive stuff going on.
You did explain to him that we do marathon podcasts, right?
I did. He knows, but
all right. So I'll be honest with you. I probably had 1,000 more questions I could have asked him because, and I'm going to put this out right now to the chat. You had a guy who worked in the WWE as a writer during the Chris Benoit era, and the best you can ask is about people having sex. Are you fucking serious?
It was Canada Spaceman asked 2 different questions
about sex.
about
you literally
sex.
had a guy,
and he's still asking about the rats getting milked over here.
I don't get it. You guys complain. You guys fucking ask questions. We have a guy who actually worked during possibly, one of the best eras in the WWE. And all you want to know is if Macho Man dropped the elbow on fucking Stephanie. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed.
So are you saying that when we move to Channel Attitude, you won't miss them at all in the live broadcast? Okay.
What channel? What are you talking about?
Sorry, what?
Anyway, so
I'm getting a little.
Tony D'Angelo. We could wrap this up with a bow with Tony D'Angelo. He was okay. He was just too over the top. I'm noticing that, like, within the last 2 or 3 weeks, like WWE, NXT is just, they've gone like 90s, bro, like straight up 90s. Did you talk about fucking it's just Tian Sha. I mean, that's not Tian Sha. What's the name? The fucking the Chinese karate lady, Mei Ying. Was she in a fucking toilet when they opened the door on her?
That was just her normal throne.
Is that what it was?
The porcelain throne, just a normal throne. Yeah.
Because I could.
Yeah, you know how they just put that. Yeah, you know how they just put those ancient Chinese warriors and they just put them in a closet with their throne and the smoke. You know how they do that at the Performance Center.
I could have swore the Chinese guy was holding a fucking roll of toilet paper.
He was
like, "Get out! Close the door." It had Occupado on it.
No. But why? But why did she open the door? Like, where was she? Where did she think she was going? You know what I mean? Like,
why was Indy Hartwell? No.
Yeah, she's hanging. Why anything?
She's hanging out. She's hanging a lot. She's hanging out a lot with her bestie.
Yeah,
I call.
But yeah, you're right. It's just straight up, like you said. It's a throwback in the bad way.
Yeah.
It's nostalgia supposed to give you a good feeling, like a Poppy album, but this totally not the right. Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay.
Elizabeth, they were checking out the smoke.
They probably thought it was a fire.
Right. Okay. All
right. Well, she's the detailed fact checker, and I appreciate everything Elizabeth has helped us with.
Tony D'Angelo is whack, apparently. So
I don't know. I liked him though. I mean, I liked him because it's funny. Because we've built up this whole thing. Like, we built up this whole thing, and I brought a guest on for the specific reason, and we've been having so much fun with Tony D'Angelo. Remember how hard we laughed just at that first vignette that he did? Like, I haven't been that entertained by anything in wrestling in quite a while.
Aren't you bringing on your friend next week? Your other friend?
No.
The one that knows.
Oh, no, but I may have some leaked audio from an audition.
That's what it was. The leaked audio.
Yeah.
You have that?
Yeah, I got that, and we'll have that for next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, next week we have actual leaked audio. I don't even know if it's on WrestleZone or wherever the fuck you go to but apparently there's leaked audio of this dude Tony D'Angelo's actual WWE tryout. So I think you got it for next week.
Right.
So come back, check it out.
Well, yeah, the audio is supposedly there's more family members trying to get in, I think, and this is like an audition. So I got the leaked audition.
There you go. Look, Mike Martin. Here we go. We're good. It's just Tony D. Entertaining. He's entertaining.
Yeah. Even if he's not being entertaining because he's good, he's entertaining because you just point and laugh at it. You know. I guess it's the same thing to people that find it funny when a stranger is like walking down the street and they slip on something and they fall and you just laugh at them. That's probably kind of what similar sense of humor. Watching Tony D'Angelo do his gimmick and say, "Give me a break" 50 times to the ref. Like, I don't know. I'll give him a break though. I will. He convinced me to give him a break, so he gets a break from me. I give him a thumbs up for his debut.
Okay.
In the ring, he was fine. Like I said,
he's okay.
So,
we're going to talk about three tiny things.
Okay.
Moving forward, we got Indy Hartwell versus the tiny Mei Ying, and Mei Ying is done. That character is done. I think she's not believable in the ring. I think she sucks.
Indy?
No, not well. Indy's giant. She's a giant woman, and her lover. I mean, her best friend is even bigger. They're huge. They're ginormous. But she's in the ring, and Indy Hartwell wins by pinfall with a diving splash on fucking Mei Ying. I think that character they're not going to move forward with. By the way, did you get my my tag on Instagram?
Yeah, but it was the same picture as it was like weeks ago.
It's a new one. No, that was a new one.
It's the same, dude. Your old comment is still on there.
Oh, is it over?
Yeah. Yes.
Zia Lee over? She's so
Yeah,
fucking. She's a hottie,
she's
bro.
SmackDown.
Why is she
SmackDown
not
drafted Zia Lee?
Why? Oh, so she's going to SmackDown. I have no idea about anything.
All right. Well, let me tell you what I have an idea about.
So Mei Ling is small.
Yeah, she got beat by Indy Hartwell here.
Sure did.
And with all the investment that they've made into this gimmick and this character and everything, this should have been a way bigger deal if she was going to lose. They made it seem like it was no big deal.
It wasn't. She was tiny.
So what?
I got you.
I mean, she's tiny, but compared to like what Indy Hartwell's tall, does she look like she can whoop anybody? No. The answer's no.
I don't know.
You're looking for the answer of no. She does not.
Oh, okay. I think different.
You think Indy Hartwell looks tough?
She doesn't look tough, but she's a big, strong woman, dude. Like I think she
she should run the Kentucky Derby.
She is stallion-esque.
First thing I'd ask Indy Hartwell when I met her is why the long face.
Oh.
But in any case, yeah, dude, it doesn't matter what your personal opinion of the workers or the gimmick is. If we've had to watch Tian Sha for like 9 months to a year, and they build all this stuff up, and she just gets beat flat in the middle of a TV match, no build.
Nope.
That's wrong.
That's what they do.
That's very bad. That's very bad.
That's why I think they're not gonna invest anymore in this. I think this is it. This is like the beginning of the end for Mei Ying.
Well, it may be, but you still could have got something out of it.
Can we talk about two more little things?
Sure.
We got the champion of the Itty Bitty Titty Committee. She comes to the ring. You know who that is?
No, who's that?
Raquel Gonzalez.
Oh yes.
I didn't like that top. It wasn't very flattering.
Wait, there was one more. One more thing where Tony D'Angelo,
Lash Legend,
decides he wants to be on Lashing Out with Lash Legend. What do you think about that, huh? Hey,
what is she supposed to be?
Tony?
Is she supposed to be like Wendy Williams? Is that what this is? Another fucking 90s?
I kind of thought so. I think I may have even mentioned Wendy Williams by name last week with that terrible little talk show vignette they did. She's right. Elizabeth is right. She does look like what's her name? Something with an S.
The chick that crawled through the TV.
Yeah,
that's what it's supposed to be, like a Chinese version of that, right?
Yeah, you shouldn't be getting not somebody that should be getting beat by Indy Hartwell, who just got fucked with 10 sleeves worth of condoms this past week. She should be too sore to even have a match.
10 packets, not 10 condoms, 10 boxes of condoms.
I said sleeves. I was thinking the whole. When you pull the whole. The whole thing out.
Well, yeah. I mean, my God, how backed up was this poor guy?
Yeah, dude, seriously, but
just splooging everywhere, huh?
Yeah, I don't.
You think Mark got hot when I asked him about the butts?
No.
Okay, you sure?
Yes.
I feel a little uncomfortable. Like you were like, Ray, you shouldn't have asked him about the butt meter.
No, he doesn't care, but I just turned it into shtick.
I could just see his wife just standing there with a boiling fucking thing of olive oil, just like waiting. Yeah, just listening in.
She wasn't cooking anything. She just overheard and started heating something up on the stove.
She goes, "What? Butts?"
Yeah. So, do you want Tony to be on Lashing Out or no? I think
of course. I want Tony on TV every week.
All right.
I mean, I found the guy to be entertaining. Like I said, the fact that I don't think enough wrestlers do enough character work in the ring anymore. It's all so fucking generic. This was different. Tony D'Angelo actually was talking shit. He was, he was begging off a little bit. That's why I didn't know if he was a heel or a baby face. He's supposed to be. I mean, how many baby faces fucking beg off? Oh no, don't hit me. Oh, I don't know.
Mei Ying tried to do something different. You didn't seem to care.
What's that? What'd she do? She was on the toilet.
So Raquel to the ring.
Yes, Itty Bitty Titty Committee.
Got a diamond mine profile in between her entrance.
We did. That was awesome. That was over.
So It only took them a few months, but they explain who everybody is and what they do. So that's nice. Very kind of them.
When that young lady opened her mouth, she sounds so fucking like the girl next door.
She probably is.
She is.
If the girl next door, if you live next door to an MMA gym.
She's a bad looking little chick though, man. I'll tell you that.
Right.
So we get Toxic Attraction who interrupts this promo, I guess.
So it's their second time out.
Yep.
So we know where the bread is buttered on the show, right?
Oh yeah. Butter that bread.
Mm-hmm.
What?
And then Zoe-O comes out.
Who?
Zoe-O.
I don't know what that is.
It's a mashup of Zoe and Io.
Oh, Zoe Stark. How tiny did those two look next to the fucking giants, the Twin Towers? Listen, just remember I said this, okay? There is going to be a hot lesbian action angle between these two girls. What's the taller one again? Her girlfriend in real life?
I think her name was Persia something.
Persia, right. I want you guys to Google Persia videos. You see what comes up. She's one of the all-time great. Anyway, so Persia is going to get jealous or something, and I have a feeling we're gonna have our first openly lesbian couple on NXT. I think by 2022. I'm serious.
And that's how Dexter gets divorced and out of the angle.
Yeah,
I'm dead serious.
I think that's going to happen. So doesn't that make sense?
Yeah, but here's the thing. Look who's doing the angle. So what do you think it's going to be? We're supposed to think it's going to be some kind of a crazy taboo idea that two women are in a relationship. And they're going to really play that up. Dude, I remember hearing a story. You want to talk about stories about the WWE. I remember hearing a story about Michael Hayes pitching an idea for some angle where they find out that somebody has like a secret, girlfriend or whatever. And the girlfriend happened to be black. And that was Michael Hayes' idea of like a bomb drop. You know what I mean? Like that, like an interracial couple in 2010 or whatever was Michael Hayes' idea of like a earth-shattering drama. You know what I mean? So like, what do you think you're going to get with a lesbian couple? They're going to make it seem like, oh my God, what do you do? And then what? Ray? A wrestling match. That's all. That's all you get. You get a wrestling match out of it. I don't know if that solves the issue of sexuality between people, like having a wrestling match. I mean, that's how you work it out, but a professional sports competition, I think they're still going to be gay afterwards. So
you think so? You sure?
Probably.
Okay.
I don't know though. I don't know.
After the 1, 2, 3, you never know what can happen.
That's true.
Hey, we see Von Wagner again, by the way.
True.
Hey, so is it like a normal thing to go to Old Navy, get like one of those white button-down poplin shirts and just cutting the sleeves off?
Well, I am white, but I've never been to Old Navy.
Got it.
And I couldn't specifically answer that or that. But I don't think it is normal.
Listen, that guy Von Wagner, Fly Lesbian Seagull, it's a great song, by the way. We should go off to that. But
whose wrestling theme was that?
Well, who sang that song, by the way? I forgot.
I don't remember. Barry Manilow or some shit.
Was it Fly Lesbian? Can somebody in the chat tell me? Anybody?
They already know. But
no, this is the best. Hold on. So you're a fan of Beavis and Butthead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what was the teacher's name? The fucking SJW teacher they had back in the day?
Mr. Van Driesen.
Mr. Van Driesen. Do you remember when Mr. Van Driesen got his guitar and did this?
And here's a song that might help you cope with some of those feelings, okay? It's called Lesbian Seagull. She flies so gracefully over rocks, trees, and sand.
This is fucking over.
Soaring over cliffs and gently floating down to land. She proudly lifts her voice to sound the maiden.
I'm trying to fade out so I can get to the part so we don't get struck. Here we go.
By singing, caw, caw, caw. Come with me, lesbian seagull.
That should be Tony D'Angelo's fucking.
Settle down and rest with me.
That should be his. That should be his intro song. Fly lesbian.
It'd
That
be
was the
great if
Beavis.
he came out with the same energy to
Right.
that song, but he still comes out like, "Hey,
Yay, yo!"
Like, read the room, buddy.
Fuck out of here, bro, with this shit. Lesbian Seagull by Barry Manilow, I guess.
Engelbert Humperdinck.
Me
Once
and
again,
Ray,
Lisbeth saving the day with her stats.
Engelbert Humperdinck. Wasn't he a manager for Bam Bam Bigelow?
That was Oliver Humperdinck.
Ah, not the same guy.
Well, I've never seen them in the same place at the same time.
Did Oliver Humperdinck not look just like the troll that was in the Masters of the Universe movie that was supposed to be Orko, and people were pissed off that it wasn't Orko?
Yeah, it was Gwildor.
Gwildor.
The Cosmic Key.
Oh, fucking Gwildor.
Yes, by legendary little person actor Billy Barty, who also played in, I'm pretty sure it was Leprechaun too.
It was so fucking disturbing when he was eating all that chicken. Do you remember that?
The chicken, yeah.
We need to just not do a 3-count next week and just review the original
Just review Masters of the Universe 1987.
Yes.
Dude, how hot was Chelsea Field in that movie? The one that played Tila?
Oh, she was fucking hot.
And Courtney Cox was in it too.
That's right.
Back before anybody knew who she was. So there was two similar looking white brunettes that were totally hot in Masters of the Universe 1987. And Frank Langella's Skeletor was absolutely masterful. The rest of the movie was trash. He belonged in a way better movie. Yes.
No.
His Skeletor, yes.
Oh no, he was yes, he was amazing. But I think you're underselling how great the writing of this movie actually was. I mean, like,
Okay. Ba da da da. Ba da 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 da. Ba da 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 da. Ba. Wait a
That's
minute.
not, I mean, that's not
I've
the
got it.
example I would use. That part actually makes sense. He's trying to sound it out, but there's some other stuff in there that.
That's it! How did you do that?
I don't know. I just, if I hear a tune a couple of times, I can usually remember it.
classic. You know, I want everybody in the chat right now to go to whatever streaming service you have and watch that movie. It is incredible. Is his wife yelling at you? Is
No,
Mark's
no.
wife there yelling at you with the hot oil?
No.
My landlord never comes up.
That's crazy, right?
I couldn't believe I was hearing it because it's a pretty soundproof room. Must have been banging hard. Anyway, he's going to be evicting the people that live downstairs for us.
Are those the Dominicans, or they live to
No.
the side?
So the Dominicans live in the house across the street. Like, so this neighborhood right here where I live is all Italian and Asian. We were the only Hispanics living here for years. Now, listen, I'm going to say something because I'm Latino. But they fucking live up to every negative fucking stereotype there is possibly. I came home I get home late. Last night I came home at 2 o'clock in the morning because the trains were running like shit. Okay? And this fucking prick next door is listening to some fucking merengue. Yeah, and I said it like that. I know it's merengue, but he was listening to some fucking merengue at 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, who does that? Anyway, he's evicting the people downstairs. And he owns the house next door. So he's probably evicting them as well.
All right. I don't know what any of us can do with that information, but it's going to be 2 a.m. before we get done with this podcast. So
Yes, Mike Martin, 3-hour next level. Yes. Is it too long, guys? I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we're giving you so much fucking free content. I apologize. My bad. I mean, I could be doing something else.
Well, don't you know, Ray, in this current society that we live in, we don't want to actually enjoy things. We want to just have enjoyed things already. You know, we want to binge all the TV shows. We want to have watched them already. We don't want to actually sit and watch them and enjoy them. We don't want to watch the movie. We want to look up the spoilers just so we can see what happened and get it over with. There's no enjoying.
Talk forever. Clap, 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 clap. All right. Let's finish this off, man. So yes,
I think you were saying something about the Ridge.
Yes,
He was comforting Kyle. Like, Kyle's very annoyed for whatever reason. Like I said, that he has a friend. It looks like it pains him on the face. You know, like his face is like, why is this guy nice to me?
Would you want him as your friend?
Better than my enemy.
Listen, that dude, I could swear that when he's talking to Kyle O'Reilly, he's not even looking at him. He's looking off to the side where the cue cards are situated. Like he's reading. I am going to support you. Laugh. Haha.
Well, it's hard enough to teach a Sasquatch English, let alone have him like memorize stuff. Like we should be glad he can read it all.
Like he could really, like I could literally see him saying, "Hey, I'm gonna have your back," and it says pause, and he actually says pause because he's reading it off the fucking cue card.
Yeah,
fucking loser.
Man.
That guy sucks, bro. He's no edge.
Frank's Pickle Barrel ass says this show is longer than a Cornette show. I know we don't even have the ad reads.
Right.
If we had to do stuff for Code Academy and stuff like that, like oh man, this show would be like 4 hours.
This is brought to you by Rodecaster Pro. I do all my shit here on rodecasterpro.com. Like that? I don't know. I don't listen to the show. Okay.
That was half-ass Cleveland from Family Guy, but
that was Cleveland Brown.
All right, do the rest of the show as Cleveland to make up for the length of it.
Okay. We have Josh. Wait, what?
You can't do it. Don't do it. I won't be able to stop laughing if you do it.
Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, Grizzled Young Veterans, MSK. My name is Cleveland Brown, and I am proud to be right back in my hometown with my whole family. So yeah, we get this fucking fatal 4-way fuck fest.
Yeah.
Which I still think, even though Ben Hameen says the shitty 6 that he wrestled in on 2CW was the shits.
Mm-hmm.
Which Ben, I will put it over. It was the shits. That was terrible. But this was up there. Look, it was a match. MSK, it was an elimination. They had to do it that way. And apparently Carmelo Hayes is over with the crowd. They were fucking furious that Carmelo Hayes and Andre 3000 got eliminated first. So Carmelo Anthony and Andre 3000, they go down first. And then I believe the Grizzled Young Veterans get pinned second. And then what we had left, we had the Wrestling Rednecks and MSK in the ring. Can we call them that? Can we steal Collins' old gimmick?
I was gonna say it's 2 Collins and
you got the Wrestling Rednecks. I remember when he used to call in WZ, and he would, hey, this is a Wrestling Redneck, and he used to talk like this, and I'm like, and then when I actually finally fucking spoke to him, Billy Ray Valentine, I remember he messaged me. Check this out, Vet. He messaged me, right? He goes, Billy Ray Valentine was pissed off. This is a shoot. Pissed off that Colin didn't have a real Southern, like a thick Southern accent. Like he thought the Wrestling Redneck was really that way. And he was so fucking disappointed. And I said, well, he did his job.
Yeah.
So I got to put Colin over.
That's heat, brother.
It is heat, brother. So anyway, break this match down, brother, so we can go home with this.
Well, there's not much. There's not much to break down. This, like you said, it was a match. It didn't really matter too much, but there's a couple of points. Number one, this is our first look at Trick.
Trick Daddy.
Yeah. Did you watch Any Given Sunday, by the way? No? Okay.
No, I don't watch that.
All right. Well, think about watching it. Okay. So Trick, this is our first look at Trick here.
Daddy.
Not bad.
Okay.
I felt like he, he had good ring positioning. He did a couple of things that maybe a handful of people on the planet would have seen. That kind of stood out to me a little bit. That I noticed. It was like one is the way he was feeding for things. Like he got tagged in and he fed in a certain way to where his back was to them, and then he turned around into an offense. And then he was like going after they made the tag, or they were going for the tag, or they were going to do whatever little sunset flippy thing that ended up pinning him with. He was selling on the ground and he fed up at just the right time, at just the right position to take the move. So I don't know. Maybe he's done this before. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, we should do a little research. There are a couple of people here I want to do some research on.
Yeah, but I mean...
Hold on one second, Vet. God damn it. I think I'm going to knock on the door. Stand by.
Okay. Yeah, so that was our look at Trick. He had some telltale signs of a somewhat a seasoned worker, either that or he could be new and he's just really paying attention, to the stuff that they're teaching him, in the performance center. So that was good. The other part about this match that I feel like I have to comment on. Okay, Ray's back, which is good because I wanted him to hear this and talk about this.
God.
What really makes this match bad is the finish. Because you could have had a great match up until this finish, and this finish was so bad that that's all you would have remembered. You would have forgot the great match. It wasn't a great match, by the way, just to clarify in case anybody, maybe my audio cut out for a second and you thought I said it was a great match. It's not, but if it was, this still would have killed the entire thing because the fucking ref counted to 5 and the kid's shoulders weren't down for 1 second of it. Like not one slap of the mat was this kid's shoulders on the mat. So and I think that's probably why he counted 5 times, because he kept starting the count over because he didn't have his shoulders down. So this is the teaching portion of the show, where all you aspiring indie wrestlers, guys that want to get contracts and stuff like that, little details and stuff. If you're trying to get a job with the WWE, they don't care if you can do a tope. I just want you to know that.
What?
They want to see if you're going to be able to do the little things that nobody does anymore, the fundamental things, right?
Right.
One of the fundamental things is you have to, and if you follow Rip Rogers on Twitter, he says this all the time. You have to get your shoulders down. If you're getting pinned and it's the finish, get your shoulders on the mat. If your opponent isn't going to pin you, you better damn well pin yourself. Okay? It's because it makes you both look bad. It makes everybody look bad. It makes you look bad. It makes them look bad. It makes the ref look bad. All three of you. So you always get your shoulders down, unless obviously the angle is that you had your shoulder up and the ref didn't see it, and that's what you're supposed to do. But if you're just getting rolled up or whatever, how many times do you see a roll up, Ray, where the guy is like, he gets like a little bit the legs up the guy's body and has no pressure on the upper body, and that person just has to sit there like a bug that fell on its back and just go like this and act like you couldn't just roll your shoulders slightly? Like, there's so many bad pins that you see on a daily basis. It really kind of takes it out of it. And I know a lot of people, especially here, I see a lot of guys in the chat, they complain about the roll-up. Like, they laugh at the roll-up finish. They laugh at the schoolboy. They laugh at, the small package. They laugh at it and say, oh, yeah, strongest move in wrestling, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, you know what? If somebody gives you a shoot schoolboy or a shoot small package, you're not getting out of it. No. But the thing about it is they look so bad when a lot of guys do it that you're looking at it and visually you're like, why didn't that guy get out? The reason those moves are important, even though they're not exciting, is so that they can be used as false finishes. If nobody ever gets beat with a schoolboy and nobody ever gets beat with a small package, then there's no point in doing them in the match because you'll never use it as a false finish. You need them for false finishes. It makes it more exciting. If someone gets pinned and kicks out of one of those things for like those moments where you're almost sure that's going to be the screw job finish and someone gets rolled up and then they kick out of it, it's like, okay, I thought that was the finish, but now I'm excited because the match continues. That's the psychology of those type of things. But regardless of any of that, if you are getting pinned and that's the finish, get your damn shoulders down. Lay your arms on the mat. Do whatever it takes. But don't make these guys look like idiots like these guys all did here. Mm-hmm. Whose kid is this? Whose fucking kid is this? Not Josh Briggs, but the other redneck? The other hillbilly, he's somebody's kid.
He's Bull Buchanan's kid, right?
Yeah, Bull Buchanan. Okay, his kid, whatever. He fucked it up. Big deal. Learning experience. But unfortunately, it was on fucking national television. Yeah. These are the kind of things that you normally get worked out in bingo halls. Okay, and then by the time you get to TV, you're supposed to be polished enough so shit like this doesn't happen. It fucking happens on the main roster all the time. So we're in a sad state right now.
I wanted to bring out, and that's a fantastic point, bro. Something I did notice that I didn't mention during the Tony D'Angelo match, when he hit his finish, right? The kid overextended his shoulder to make sure his shoulder was down on the mat. I don't know if you noticed that, because when Tony D'Angelo did that rolling, whatever, the like perfect plex or whatever you want to call it, you know, he didn't have the kid flush down on the canvas. Go back and take a look at it and look at how the kid that he wrestled actually made sure that his back.
Yeah, I saw that when he did it, and they showed a replay of it too when I saw it, you know. But that's exactly how you're supposed to do it.
Right.
I mean, think about it. If you let's say it's this was you know, in the tag match in the main event, it was a roll up, right? So in a roll up, you're conscious. You should be able to try to escape, and then it looks like you can't escape. That's the idea of it. In a move like this, where there's impact on it, so whether it's a driver, a slam, a bomb, anything like that ends with like a sudden impact, if you splay your arms out on the canvas, then that's what would happen if you got knocked out. Your arms could go loose and they would just fall like that. So it's believable if you were knocked out for at least, I don't know, say 3 seconds, that your arms would be your arms would be spread out and your shoulders would be down. So good job to Malik Blade on, you know, getting that over, because it could have easily looked awkward. He could have easily had his shoulder up.
Sure, absolutely. And with that being said, and you know, I had a whole description written, guys. I'm sorry we missed the 3 count, but I think it was worth it having our buddy Mark on with us. And again, you know, maybe we'll go off the edge to this. What do you think? Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cleveland Brown, and this has been the Next Level Podcast. No, we're not going to do that.
Oh.
Anyway,
they shouldn't have said it.
Then sorry about that, but listen, man. It has been one hell of a long show. But again, much like the way you say that you enjoy getting that phone call from Mark, and you know it's going to be a good time, I feel the same way, Vet. I actually missed doing the show last week. I was around, you know, running around and shit, doing a whole bunch of stuff, especially going to City Hall, getting my name on my wife.
That's weird. It's weird when you say it like that. I will say you said I buried you, but I could have buried you worse and told them what you were doing, and I didn't. But you told them. So
what was I doing?
It was the stuff that you did that, you know, probably didn't need to miss a podcast for.
I did have to. It was the schedule was made. It was what it was.
I feel like it could have been rescheduled.
No, not with COVID.
Like,
you get that schedule, you get that appointment, you thank God that you got the appointment, and you just move on from there, bro. I'm serious. It's that difficult.
I feel like she could have waited another 6 to 8 months to get your last name.
Not if she wants to be put in my insurance.
Who needs insurance? Just don't let anything happen.
It's New York City, and people walk around with knives. And rats.
And even worse, no masks on trains.
Yes, you're damn right. And I will continue to take pictures of people with no mask because I fucking like it.
Yes.
Goddamn right.
They all like it. Everybody follows you, so they all see it and they all love it.
They'll get on my case and shit. You know you fucking get off on that, you losers. Anyway, Vet, it's not like I have anything else to do today. I don't have a Yankee game to watch. Fuck. That shit broke my heart. But neither here nor there, Vet. Let's end on a positive note. The New York Knicks and their first preseason.
You said a positive
game,
note.
They look fantastic. All right, fine. Where can they follow and find you and stalk you and do all this fun stuff?
Oh yeah, it's just gonna be like right there. Opinion Haver at everywhere. Got to even though I did miss having Big Ray on last week, you deliver on the equal or greater value when we got a Ben Hameen and we I got him caught up on everything that was going on in the world of NXT, and we had some interesting takes on it. It'd be fun to go at it with Ben Hameen, but we get to spend so little time together. I don't want to spend any of it doing that.
Yeah,
I just want to
it
have
was
a
too
good time.
much of a love fest between you guys last week.
Yeah, I agree, but I'm just saying that's why. That's why, you know. If I had to do something with him every week, believe me, the shots would be fired across the bow. But I maximize my minutes. So if the Knicks can learn to do that, then maybe they'll have a good year this year. And yeah, so you can find me there. Of course, Impact Attack. Normally, sorry, Canada Spaceman. Normally, it's just gonna be at that weird hour because that's when Colin is available to do it. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of it, but I'd rather do it with Colin than without Colin. So we kind of accommodate his busy schedule. He's a busy man, and we appreciate all of his contributions. On the Smack Attack, I did a nice little fun fantasy draft against RBV, who says that you guys are okay now, but I didn't necessarily trust him. I wanted to ask you first, straight to the horse. Maybe? That's what he said. He said it was kind of like, maybe. He's not sure what he did, but so maybe you can like mend those fences, because I think he doesn't, whatever happened, he doesn't understand what it was. So we don't have to get into that now. We don't have time for it. Just letting you know the door's open for Rick Vicker. We had a good time. I think I drafted a better show, but it's up to you. It's up to you guys to decide. Yeah, so that's basically it for me. And then Ray, what about yourself?
Well, I am going to be doing a live review of Crown Jewel with Rick Vickery on October 21st. So the show starts, I believe, at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 7 p.m. Bin Hameen time. Mm-hmm. And then I'm assuming the show will probably be about 3 hours long, maybe 4 hours long. So probably around 4 p.m. Eastern Time we'll be jumping on. So Vet, I don't know if you're working or whatever, if you wanted to jump on with us, that would be awesome. But that means you would have to watch Crown Jewel and then jump on with us. Just putting it out there. I know.
Well, when like, what is the window from when the show's over to when you review it again?
I want to jump on like a couple of minutes right after. So,
Jesus Christ. And when is it? Like, what day of the
Thursday? Thursday, October 21st, if I'm correct.
Yeah, zero chance of that. But I wish you all the best.
Thank you. It's going to be me and Rick Vickery.
Well, you guys, this is your opportunity to do what we always say. Chicken salad and lemonade, baby. Serve it up.
Jinder Mahal is in the house. Crown Jewel, yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, get the fuck out of here. Jinder Mahal's from Canada. Oh. Speaking of Canada, I want to ask Spaceman a question. I just saw these Barstool Sports has a pizza, like a frozen pizza, and the box that it comes in says like product of Canada. What do you know about that? You guys been eating Pat McAfee's pizzas and stuff up there this whole time, and we're just now getting it here in the U.S.?
Oh my God. That could be a food chain. Pat McAfee's Pizza.
Pat McAfee's Pizza. Yeah. And I was like, it's like I heard it was Barstool Sports, and then I was like, it's probably just Barstool something. And then I looked at the logo. No, that's them. They have a pizza now.
Yeah, well, Barstool Sports. That guy has been. That was another thing I wanted to talk about, but maybe we can save it for next week. Yeah, he's been fucking shadow banned and shit. And I don't know, so much stuff going on. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at Frank saying I'm going to be Big Ray for Halloween. And Sonic says, I'll be the vet for Halloween. Well, I don't know how you're going to pull that off with your hair, Sonic, but let me tell you, I approve of whiteface 100%. So you have my blessing, sir.
That would be fucking hilarious if those two guys could actually do that and send us a picture, and I'll try to share it on the screen here. That would be amazing.
You have to.
You have to do that.
We put that all on all social medias. We share that.
So I have a question for you.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
No, you. Are we dressing up for Halloween? For the show before Halloween?
Doubtful.
I probably will.
Okay.
I'm just putting it out there.
Okay.
I don't know what I'd do, what I'd be. I mean, I've been Hulk Hogan. I've been Super Mario. I've been, I think I did Frankenstein one year. I've done this before.
Maybe the inspiration will strike in the least likely of places. And then you'll know what your costume is right at the right time.
Right. I was thinking about being that guy that used to pour oil all over himself and dance in the thong in WWE.
Big Dick Johnson, yes.
Yes.
Which Mark has plenty of stories about as well.
You got to have Mark back on, dude.
Yeah? Okay.
That was fun.
I'll let him know. I'll let him know on enough advance that he won't have errands to run with his wife. So...
I wonder if he got hit with the hot oil. I'm literally trying to stretch. I was literally trying to stretch this out.
You don't want to go. You don't want to go, do you, Ray?
I wanted to
Not only do you want to cross that 3-hour threshold, you don't want to be alone for the rest of the day.
Well, no, I got stuff to do, I guess. I mean, I can clean the house. I haven't done that in like a week. I got to do that. That's it. I have nothing more.
He's out. He's out. He stretched it as long as he could. This was called pulling time in the.
I still have to edit. What is it?
Pulling time.
Explain that.
You gotta pull time. And it's you pull it and it stretches like taffy. And someone tells you go out there for a 5-minute match, and then some segment later in the show gets cut because somebody's not at the building. You're like, all right, you guys are doing 10. That's why you got to learn to work on the fly, kids. Call it in the ring.
Well, guys and gals, I'm glad you joined us for this fucking marathon of a podcast. If you guys are looking forward to the 3 count, well, you get what you pay for. Like I said before, that's about it. Go Knicks. Who do you think is going to win the World Series before we jump off?
I don't know, man. Rays. I hope. I hope the Rays beat Boston into the ground.
Yeah, I hope they fucking. I tweeted this out, or maybe I put it on Facebook, but I hope as the Red Sox land in Tampa, that they all fall down the fucking steps from the plane and all twist their ankles all at the same time. I don't want nobody to get hurt.
All the same ankle.
All the same ankle.
They all walk in. It looks like the Thriller video.
Yes, and I want them to all. I don't want nobody get hurt. Nobody get really seriously hurt.
Just hurt enough to not.
Just like a good twisted ankle that they can't play, and they have to forfeit. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
They forfeit 4 games straight. That'll be awesome.
Nice.
Fuck them.
Let's hope.
Anyway, so if you're in Boston, jump in the car, go to the ballpark, have yourself a hot dog. It's gonna be a wicked pisser. Grab a seat on the monster. No? Anyway. You sound like a Cleveland fan talking about the Yankees. I don't know what she's talking about.
He sounds like a Cleveland Brown.
Cleveland Brown. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, as per our friend Mark, a.k.a. Frank, what is it, Frankie? Forget about it?
Yeah.
We will be going off the air, podcast only, with the WCW version 1 of the 4 Horsemen theme. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you here next week on your Next Level podcast. I always say I would do this for a living, but if I couldn't, I'd do it anyway. Why? Because I love talking wrestling, and I love talking to the vet for 3 hours every single Thursday or Wednesday. What day is it?
I don't know, bro.
We started on a Wednesday, but we probably end on a Thursday.
When I go to work, it's one day, and when I come home, it's another day.
The Cleveland Steamer. Yes. I need that soundbite.
No, we really don't need any of that.
You don't think I need the old Matt Hardy? Yes.
Maybe for your light the fuse appearances, you can bring it. We have no use for that here.
I think I'm done with that.
No.
I don't think I'll be back on for a while.
Oh, real quick. We might be able to get 3 hours out of this.
Hold on. Let me reset the music. Go ahead.
Bulletproof Blake Troop made his debut. What'd you think?
Dude, let me tell you. I thought he did really fucking well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there were a couple of things that I pointed out to him, which the funny thing is that he not only agreed with it, but apparently he and Chris went back to the video room, rewatched, and he has to work on. I'll talk to you off air what they are, because I'm not gonna. It's not a burial or anything like that, but those are things that I noticed that he did during the match. But other than that, dude, I think the guy did phenomenal for his first time.
Oh yes.
And that dude he was wrestling was fucking great too, man. That guy, big boy too, man.
Mm-hmm.
Great look, excellent character. Like he did a great job, man. And I'm fucking proud of Blake Troop, right?
Yeah, if you guys didn't see it, the cat's out of the bag. The mystery opponent was Jordan Clearwater, who you may have seen on NWA and New Japan Strong and some other places around.
Yeah, man. And he beat him.
That's right.
He won.
Well, I mean,
awesome.
Yeah, look at him.
Did you enjoy the match?
I liked it. I think he did enough good things. There's plenty of bright future there.
Yeah, I agree.
And he won because if you remember when we had him on, I told him, "Hey, throw a grenade for me." And he did, and he won. So really, I'm technically part of like his coaching team.
Yeah.
So like if they show the picture of him and Silvio and I'm sorry, what the other guy was there?
Gentleman Jones. Let's just call him that.
Yeah, Gentleman Jones. And then I would be like the scene of Return of the Jedi where like the ghost of Anakin's like there. That would be me. Like I'd be off to the side, like smiling proudly.
The blue ghost.
Yeah.
Hell fucking yeah, man. Hey man, we got about 40 seconds, bro. We could do this 3-hour thing right now. We're gonna make it.
Oh, easily. We're gonna do it, bro. We're gonna do it. We should cut it off like right before.
I ran through the outro song 3 different times, and that's a 6-minute song.
That's amazing.
But yeah, man.
Well, this is also a rib in and of itself, which is very fitting for the wrestling business. Like,
what do you mean?
You know, we could have been out of here, but we're just gonna. The show's. Think about somebody listening to this. Like, maybe they're almost at work and they got to work and they're sitting in their car thinking the show's gonna be over and they're just trying to listen to the last couple seconds and now they're late for work because they
notice it's 15 minutes later.
Yeah, I'm talking to you right now. Whoever you are sitting in your car, you're going to be late for work because you think the show's going to end. And it sounds like it's about to end right now. Like we're going to sign off. But in fact, we're not. We're still talking.
We're still talking. We're past the 3-hour mark, by the way.
Yeah, and you want to just turn it off, but what if we say something hilarious and then you missed it, right? Like
what?
You never know.
But it's ridiculous. I mean, we could literally end the show anytime. I mean, if you wanted to, we could just